Alright, we're gonna start. Hello. I don't really know how to like start these things. So basically I'm Swampert. I'm the one who wrote Sayori's route. And today we are gonna go through Sayori's route, and I'm gonna be commenting on everything basically. It's probably gonna be a long stream because for anyone that knows me, I tend to ramble a lot and there's a lot of detail, and because I'll just say dev Q&A. That's true, Kelby. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me just fix that real quick. One moment. Doki Doki Blue Skies, Sayori's route, dev commentary. Sorry if you can hear my loud keyboard. My blue Yeti microphone is very close to the thing. I just want to double check that we have the save past stream feature on, because I'm terrified that I've accidentally turned it off. But I think it should be on. I just want to double check. So give me just one moment. Settings. Channel videos. Store past broadcast. It's now on. Cool. So we should be good to go. So I think with everything done, we should be good to go. So let's... I don't know why Steam is messaging me. Go away, Steam, I'm busy. Alright. Hang on, 1 second. Cool. Hopefully it should load fine. Alright. Let's begin. So obviously there are going to be spoilers, you know, for obvious reasons. I will try and limit how much spoilers talks there will be for other routes, because I know that people who want to know about the Sayori route don't want to know about the Yuri and Natsuki routes spoiler wise, so I'll try and keep that to a minimum. Anyway, let's begin. Actually no, let's not begin, because there's something that I want to point out before we begin. So as you can tell, hopefully you can tell, the music, the main menu music, changes depending on which Doki's route you're on. There's Sayori's theme, which is playing now, and there's Yuri's, and there's obviously Natsuki's and Monika's as well, which that's a glitch. We'll get that fixed in a patch, don't worry. So the reason why I wanted to bring your attention to this is because the idea was actually inspired. If anyone here has played Yoshi's Island or Undertale, you might remember that on the main menu theme, as you progress through the game, or as you rescue more and more monsters in Undertale's case, the main menu actually changes. So I really liked that dynamic where the main menu reflects where you are in the game. So that's why we had this idea to put it into the mod. I'm going to try and show you an example of it. Bear with me, because I'm shit at Twitch. What I'm going to do is play a video, audio input. Hopefully this should work. But what I'm going to do is play a little bit of Yoshi's Island. Not all of it, don't worry, I'll be very quick. So hopefully you can hear it. Can you hear the music, is what I need to know. Cool. Right, so pay attention to how every like 10 seconds or so, it changes. You'll notice that it starts off with just the bass theme, and then eventually it starts adding instruments. Like here, it added the bongos, and then later on it adds what's it called, strings in the background, and then eventually it adds that little instrument in the back, and so forth. So it builds up, and that's something that I thought was really, really cool. And that's the reason why I put it in there. Yeah, Yoshi's Island. Fantastic game. Anyway, this is not a Yoshi's Island stream. I'm not Dan Salvato. This is a DDLC stream. So, okay. Cool. So. Can you hear the Blue Skies music, by the way? That's really important. I want to make sure that's correct, because I'm bad at Twitch, as you can probably tell. Alright, let me turn it up a little bit. That's fine. I'll turn it up. There you go. You should be able to hear it now. I turned it up quite a lot. The main menu theme is quite quiet, so... Cool. Alright, now we can begin. For real. So, this bit here, where basically Monika's sentience is being taken away, this is perhaps the only time Monika's sentience is in the entire mod. This was actually changed a little bit. Initially, we had it so that Monika wasn't so... she was a lot more against the idea of giving up her sentience. So, for example... There's a part here. Yeah, so this bit here where she says, if you really want to do it, I won't stop you. That was changed. Initially, she was like, no, what are you doing? And then when you turn the mod on, her sentience is like ripped away from her. But Curie changed it before full release because we thought it was too dramatic. But the problem is, I don't think Monika would be that eager to give up her sentience, so slight bit of dev criticism there. And for those of you who click no on this choice, it just closes the game, which I'm not going to do because I can't be asked reloading the stream, so that's what happens. You know, it's honestly really strange seeing all this dialogue again, because this is all stuff that we wrote like 2.5 years ago. Just to point out that we started development in, I think it was late February 2018. So, and we finished writing Natsuki's route, which was the last one to be finished in like May 2020 or April. So, seeing old dialogue again is just really, really strange. But the one thing that we wanted to establish with Blue Sky straight off the bat was that the MC is very different to the base game. He kind of has his own personality, and he has his own problems, what being his parents' divorce and all the loneliness and stuff. That's pretty much that. I'm not going to comment on everything because we'll be here for fucking 5 years. I'll just comment on like actually important bits. Yeah, he's more of a character. We didn't want to make him a proper fleshed out character like in Danganronpa where you play as Makoto or whatever, or Kato Shoujo, but we wanted to make him have more personality than base MC. So he's kind of like that weird middle ground between actual MC and self-insert. Alright, now Cinnamon, which is the track that's playing now. So there's kind of a joke in the development team and on the Discord that, because we have two musicians, right? We have Nick, who's NP Bus, and we have Mr. PA, who also writes music. But Nick is a lot more involved in the community, so people know him a lot more. So everyone thinks that Nick wrote Cinnamon, but he didn't. And it's kind of a joke that we all say, it's all Cinnamon, as Kelly pointed out. Hello, are there going to be more mods? If you're asking if we're going to make more mods, Jimmer, Fiax, no, we're not going to be making any more mods as a team. Hey Nick, this is your favourite track. Yeah, okay, cool. So, thanks for the post, by the way. God, I really need to add like those flashy things that pop up when people subscribe to you or host you, but because I'm a noob, I haven't done that yet. Anyway, but thank you. So, one of the things that we changed from the start was that MC has drifted apart from Sayori. Obviously, that happens in the base game as well, I think, but not to as much. Yeah, it does happen, but not to this extent. Here, Sayori is a little bit more withdrawn. She's not quite as happy as she is at first. And the MC doesn't... he's not the one being pestered by Sayori to join the club. Like here, he asks her to join the club, which is a small detail, but it's something that he wants to add to kind of set our Act 1 away from base game's Act 1, because I know that there are some very big similarities, and I hate Blue Skies' Act 1. I find it really vanilla, but after you get to Act 2, it gets better, I promise. Anyway, so it's basically, this scene is trying to establish that they were really good friends, but it's been like a good 6 or 7 years until they've reconnected, so that kind of awkwardness is still part of the scene. And that's kind of what we were going for. With the MC saying things like, oh, how about we start walking together again, all that stuff. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. This is all literature club, blah, blah, blah. So he kind of, our MC shows, again, the difference between the two MCs is that ours is a bit more proactive. He's kind of not wanting to just sit back and do nothing. You like the Natsuki route? Thank you. Yes. I didn't write it, but it was... I would say it was fun to direct, but it wasn't, because the choice tree was a fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, so... that's that. Now, Sakurai. Okay, this is something that I feel is very fun to talk about. So, for those of you that have played Katawa Shoujo, which, for those who are very uninitiated, Katawa Shoujo is a visual novel, which I played after the DDLC, and it's basically, the premise is that you date disabled girls. That sounds like a bit strange as a premise, but it's actually really, really well written, and some of the characters in Katawa Shoujo are either directly in this mod or very heavily inspired by. And Sakurai, who his name is a reference to the Smash Bros. Creator, for those of you who are wondering, he was put in the mod to kind of build up the mod. So like, we didn't want the school to just feel like a convenient backdrop for the game to take place. We actually wanted it to feel like a school. That's why we added 2 students, well 3 if you count that greenhead prick for the festival, and Sakurai. And fun fact, Sakurai was initially going to be a maths teacher. We had a big discussion in developer chat as to, yeah, that greenhead prick is an asshole. I'm kind of sad and glad that we didn't use more of him, because we did just make a whole sprite for just like one scene, which is a bit of a waste considering how much work it is to make a sprite. I think there were some plans to use him in Monika's route, and yes, I will be talking about Monika's route as well, so if that's what you're interested in, then huzzah. Yeah, the one from the festival. What was I saying? Yeah, so basically Sakurai, his personality, now when we were making Sakurai's personality, we wanted to make him like Mutu? I don't know how you pronounce his name. The homeroom teacher in Katawa Shoujo. So he was, we kind of wanted a chill teacher, because I figured we wanted characters people could relate to, and I think we've all had that one cool teacher in high school who was, you know, fairly chill. Sakurai, I'm trying to think if I didn't have any teachers directly like him, but Sakurai's sense of humour was very much like one of my English teachers, who was very sarcastic and very dry. Sakurai is not quite that dry, but he does have that kind of self-deprecative kind of humour. Not a lot, but just a little tinge here and there. Yeah, and when we were making Sakurai's sprite design, there was a lot of so we weren't sure how to tackle his facial hair, right? Because the final design, he has stubble, but it's kind of like shaven, and it's kind of like, you know, like 5 o'clock. I'd say it's like 3 o'clock shadow, because you can't really see it very well. But we gave him a mustache. We gave him a Hanzo goatee from Overwatch. That little, I can't really describe it without showing you the sprite, but I'm sure you can imagine what goatee looks like. But yeah, he was a lot of fun to design, and he was going to be a maths teacher until we realised, well, I said, I don't know how to write maths teacher dialogue because I don't really know maths very well. I'm not very good at maths. So we changed it to history because I feel like you can kind of, it's a lot more open because I think everyone knows at least something about history, whereas maths, I feel, yucky. And the reason why I picked 20th century history is because it's my favourite century as well. I'm very much a fan of modern history rather than ancient history. But if you're more of a fan of ancient history, then you do you, guys. I'm not one to judge. Yeah, First World War, Nazism, Second World War. Those are kind of the topics that I find really interesting. So, as a writer, you will, if you guys ever write stuff, you will know that sometimes your personality and interests will bleed into the character. That's just how these things are. But it's good to not overdo it. Otherwise, it will just feel like you're talking to yourself rather than a completely separate character. And it's crazy how being enthusiastic for your subject makes it that much more enjoyable. Because I'm sure we've all had teachers who just ramble on and on and on, and it's just, they're a complete nightmare to listen to. The credits kind of shipped Sakurai and Mom C. Was there a scene that you guys ever thought of for them? No. The Sakurai Mom C thing was just an in-joke in the dev team. And then when Britt was making the credits video, she had her arms around his neck to kind of add some fuel to that fire. Just because we thought it'd be funny. Yeah, that's just Sakurai. So, Emmy. Okay, so those of you who've played Katsuo Shoujo, you know that Emmy is from Katsuo Shoujo. The reason why we added Emmy is because when I was playing KS for the longest time, Emmy was my favourite character. Now it's Lily, but I still love Emmy a lot. So, you know, a lot of love there. And we wanted to add a little homage to Katsuo Shoujo because obviously it's the game that directly inspired Blue Skies. And I think Emmy is probably the easiest to put in DDLC because her disability, you can hide it because, you know, just has a skirt. If we had Lily, you know, it'll be very obvious to tell. Is this Emmy's prologue? Does she lose her legs at one point in Blue Skies or immediately after? Well, the thing is, we don't know. Like, it's up to you to interpret it. This could be Emmy before she lost her legs. It could be Emmy after, or it could be an alternate timeline. It's completely up to you. It's not exactly the same character, though. Obviously, we can't just straight up use Emmy, because this sprite was drawn from scratch. There was, I think, in Doki Doki New Eyes, the creator used the Hanako sprite, but they ripped it directly from the mod. And that's a big no-no. Hello, Xenoblade Hero. How are we doing? We've done a little role reversal, I see. But yeah, if you guys haven't played Katsuo Shoujo, play it. It's absolutely amazing. I had my doubts, but the music also heavily inspired Blue Skies' soundtrack. And Hanako I like Hanako a lot. She's very cute. Must protect, but not too much though. Yeah, so we kept in the whole, you know, new recruits. Where does the game take place? It's Japan. The standard American and English traits basically come from the fact that a lot of the dev team is from North America. And I'm English myself, obviously, so it's kind of a given that English traits will bleed into the characters. So it's Japan. They just have a very international perspective on the world. Okay, so we've already done this. I can skip all this because we all know what this is. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so I want to address the Sideways Monica sprite because I know that a lot of people don't like it, or it kind of catches them off guard. So we had an old Monica sprite for those that played the demo, where her body was facing toward you, but her neck was to the side. And people were saying, "Oh, her neck looks broken, awful sprite, blah blah blah. So we changed it so that now she's also, her body is also tilted. Although I do want to point out that Natsuki also faces, her body faces you, but her neck, her head doesn't. So people complaining can go, fuck, I mean, they can just put it into perspective, you know. I'm going to skip through a lot of Act 1 because it is just vanilla. Yeah, she can't face the screen because of that. We made that sprite specifically because obviously her facing the screen was to show that she was sentient. So by taking her sentience away, we had to make a new sprite, and that's where this one came about. I'm gonna pick Yuri because she's my favorite girl. So even though this is all just vanilla. Although funnily enough, Sayori was my favorite. But then after I finished writing her route and I started doing Yuri's, I realised that I prefer Yuri. But Sayori's a nice pick. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we can just skip a lot of this at this point now. I mean, there are a lot of small style differences between Blue Skies and the base game, but honestly, it's not worth commenting on everything. What I really want to do is get to Act 2, because that's the whole point of the stream. So we're just going to skip that. I co-wrote Yuri's. I didn't write it alone, I wrote it with Curie, but I wrote Sayori's alone. Okay, so this transition here was actually really heavily inspired by Salvation, because for those of you that have played Salvation, they also do a little transition between days, but theirs was slightly different. They kind of picked icons for each girl. I think it started off as a bow, and then it turns into a pen or something. But either way, I thought we need to have our own transition, because they're cool, and not many mods have them, so it helps you stand out a little bit. And thank you very much, Lolly123, that means a lot. So we're going to pick Sayori's words, if I can remember what they are. No, I don't want Natsuki words. I want Sayori words. Why is waterfall a Natsuki word? It feels like that should be a Yuri word. I like how Sayori's word is fireflies. She would not believe her eyes. Cute? No, cute's a Natsuki word. Sparkle. Okay, good. Fuck. Bed. Yes. Lazy. Laugh. It's funny because I've gone through this poem minigame like a billion times and I can still never remember. Yuri's are easy because it's all the big words. Now that we've taken Monica out the mod, all the big words are Yuri's. But Sayori's and Natsuki's I sometimes get mixed up, which is irritating. Calm, no, that's gonna be Yuri. Lucky. Yeah, nice. Rain cloud. Okay, good. Okay, we can just skip all this. Yes, it will be on VOD. I've ticked the option that saves past streams, so it will be fine. But because I am paranoid that I might have fucked it up, I'm going to stop the stream, see if it's saved, and then carry on. So give me just 1 second. Yeah, I think that's saved. I saw it on the list, so we're good. I just really wanted to make sure that that was all okay before I carried on. So, still got 34 viewers? Wow. Look, Mum, I made it. Okay, so let's do Sayori's first. So we did want to give Sayori more poems. We only gave her 1 new poem, which is not ideal. But but we did reference Dear Sunshine a lot in the rest of the route. So I think if we changed it now, it would kind of take away a lot of the impact of later text, so we kept it in. Okay, but the other girls all got new poems from the start, so we're actually going to read them. I don't know. Yeah, the stream did restart, Starleaf. I don't know who wrote this poem. I don't know if it was on Natsuki writer. But I think this is definitely a reference to Eagles Can Fly. That's pretty obvious. But yeah, that's Natsuki's poem. I think it's a nice, simple poem. You know, as much as I like Yuri, it's nice to kind of have some simple poems that just, you know, make sense straight away, which is nice. Yuri's poems. I know that our old Yuri writer, Tactical Cupcakes, was the one who wrote these poems, I think. Is it worth reading this? Yes, because this pertains to Yuri's route. Don't worry, no spoilers, but I'm sure you can figure something out by looking at the poem. So, hail falls down like discarded dust of overused emotions, dragging down blankets made of want. Slender string pierces my eyelids, barely painful and pulls them shut. Ever so heavy, ever so heavy. I think I've misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? You need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't look for it. There are more important things for you to do today. I actually completely forgot about this poem because it's been so long. That's really cool. I feel like it's not really in Yuri's style, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway. How do you go about writing conflict? Whenever I try to write conflict in my style... how do you write conflict? So, yeah, I'm pretty much immune to it. Because when we were writing Yuri's route, Kyori and I had to decide who was going to write which ending, and I volunteered to write the bad ending. Just because I honestly find bad endings and when stuff goes wrong to be more fun to write, just because obviously stories don't work without conflict. You need that kind of driving force. So the problem is also I like the Dokis, or I did at the time, but I wasn't in love with them or like anywhere near as fanatical as other people were. So it wasn't difficult for me to say they need to get fucked up, because we knew from the start that was going to happen. We knew that they were going to have to suffer. But if you're really struggling, I mean, you don't have to make them die. And that's not a spoiler, because people know that the Dokis die in this one if you get the bad endings. But just think of conflict as a necessary evil. Don't need to skip through that. Okay, so Monica's poems are all new. The only problem with Monica's dialogue is that, as much as a great writer Curie is, she does kind of ramble a little bit. Without conflict, the good things are meaningless because nothing bad can happen. Yes, I completely agree with that. Just imagine if Sayori's route had no conflict in it, or no depression. You know, it would just be completely boring. Will there ever be a bonus act where the girls try to help MC with his own conflict, me regarding his dad? No, that is not going to happen. We are not writing any more acts. Unless we get Monica's route back, in which case we will, but that's a big funk. Let's read Monica's poem. I find it funny that some people read Monika's poems and interpreted that as she's still sentient. And it's like, nah, that's not the case. Anyway, the box. I see, but I don't believe. A lone fingerprint glistening on gleaming glass. Was it me? Was I always the one in the dark? I pound on the glass, my prison. Why? Why me? The pain jolts me back. The understanding pouring down like heavy rain. It's all a farce. My heart's on display. My life's but a script just playing away. The world out there seems so bright. It was so free. So many choices, so much potential. Maybe I could have had a chance. I realise now there was never a choice. I was stuck in the box, and they, on the other side, chose for me. Okay, so I haven't read this in like 2.5 years, so it's a little bit new to me as well. But from my understanding of Monika's Road, now I'm not the person who wrote Monika's Road. I'm not Curie or Glyph, so I'm not as well versed. But the biggest part of Monika's Road was that she had extremely overprotective parents. Not protective, overbearing parents. They were like completely controlling, very, very pressurizing. Is that a word? Yeah, pressurizing on Monika. She had so much pressure to constantly be the best at everything that she had to do. And eventually, that kind of perfectionist attitude kind of gets absorbed into Monika's psyche. So it gets to a point where she looks down on everyone because she feels like she's the only real person. So it's meant to parallel, like reference the base game, in that she's the only one that feels real, but not in the sentient sense. I can understand how if someone feels like they always have to succeed and other people aren't as good as them, they can feel like they're the only real person out there. So that's what this poem is representing. I can see why people interpret it as base game, the gleaming glass being the computer screen, but really what it's referencing is the fact that she wants to break free. The glass, my prison, why me? Her being like trapped by her parents. So the prison being home rather than the computer screen in this case. My life's but a script just playing away. She feels like they're controlling her and they're the one deciding everything. So their decisions are the script and her life is just playing along with that. The world out there, not referencing the real world, but the world where she can make her own choices and be her own person. It was so free. So many choices, so much potential. Again, referencing that. I think this poem was very, very cleverly written because it's referencing the base game while also being able to be interpreted in a completely different light if you know what Monika's problems are. So I didn't write this poem. I think Curie wrote this poem. Brit did. So if you're watching Brit or if you're not, good job. This poem's really good. I've not read it in so long I've completely forgotten about it. But that's really cool. Kind of abstract. Okay, cool. Yeah, very good. They have their fight, and it's a little bit different here. I think this one isn't about the MC at all. It's more about the actual poems, because we wanted to shift the focus away from MC being this, you know, in the base game, he's like the source of all their conflict, whereas here, the girls kind of have their own lives, so it's not just all about him. So it was really important to kind of make sure that the argument was different. That was part of the subtle differences in that we have an argument between these two and it comes from the poems, but in the base game it talks about the MC, but here it doesn't. It sticks to the poems. And Yuri's kind of written as someone who is quiet, but actually not a big pushover. Because if you piss her off, she will fight back. So, whereas in the base game, I feel like she's a little bit more meek. Because obviously her Act 1 personality is very different to her Act 2 personality. This choice doesn't really matter. If you're trying to pick a route, this one doesn't matter. But yeah, this is all just very similar. Oh no, there is something else that's a little bit different in that Monica really emphasizes Sayori's ability as the vice president to deal with conflict, and there's a part in the festival where if you side with Monica, Natsuki says that Sayori will be a better president than Monica would ever be. Now, the reason why that cuts so deep for Monica is because obviously the whole perfectionism thing. She's literally being told that she's not a good president, and that to Monica really hurts, and that's why in the festival you really see her take it to heart. That would have been something that would have been explored in Monica's route. But obviously, alas. I think we actually had we made our own version of Dreams of Love and Literature, but we never really got around to implementing it. I mean, I think that the soundtrack for this game, I mean, obviously I'm biased because it's, you know, my mod, but I think that the soundtrack to this game is like one of the best. The only other mod that I can see with a comparable soundtrack would be Purist mod. But the music is the only positive thing I will say about that mod. Shots fired. Anyway. Is defeat Yuri or Sayori? Yeah, Sayori. I always forget that suicide is not a Sayori word, even though technically it should be. Yeah, the DDLC motif is so catchy, and I'm glad that our musicians put it in some Blue Skies tracks. You'll see it in the Christmas music, the Halloween music. We definitely have a Halloween version of Your Reality and Your Festivity. I can't remember if there is another track that has the DDLC motif in it. I think it's Argumentative. I love the song that plays when you're playing Walking with Sayori. Cinnamon, yeah, Cinnamon is Sayori's theme. It's one of her themes. We kind of wrote the girls to have their own music with one upbeat and one sad song. So if Sayori's sad song is Out of Reach, Yuri's is Deep Wound, and Natsuki's is Choking Up, I believe. And the happy ones are Simplicities, Rogue Elegance, and Kokoro. Kokoro? Kokoro. Can't remember how you pronounce it. Cheer. Sing? Oh, Nick. The festival tracks, Argumentative, some Sunday tracks. Thank you, Nick. He's one of our musicians, by the way, so go and tell him what an amazing job he did. He's bad at taking compliments, so make him feel uncomfortable. I don't know. Feather. Contamination. Aura. Disown. Photograph. Shame. I think shame might be a... That is a Sayori word, I knew it. Sadness, warm. Summer Natsuki or Sayori? Fuck, I knew it. Rain Cloud. Okay, we should get enough. No, Scars is Yuri, I think. Well, at least I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. Yeah, we can just skip all this at this point. Do 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 do. There was no reason for Nick to go in as hard as he did with the soundtrack, but he did it anyway. And Mr. PA. Both of them were an absolute joy to work with. Okay, let's go with Sayori, because this is all the same. One thing that I will comment in Act 1 with the poems is that the MC is a little bit more receptive to Sayori's, because this poem, obviously it has the happy undertones of keeping your friends happy, but if you really dig deep, you can tell that it's being there for your friends at the expense of yourself. And that's something that the MC actually picks up on, I think. I think he did. Hopefully he does, or else this would be really awkward. Yes, here we go. So he says that the latter half of the poem isn't quite as cheery. In fact, it's pretty alarming. It's a dark contrast from the cheeriness I'm used to with Sayori. Yeah, and he comments on how the poem is pretty dark, and that she mentions she's been in touch with her feelings recently, so is everything okay? That was like a little small detail that kind of hopefully set up the Sayori MC relationship, where he's a little bit more receptive, he's a bit less of an arse, and he's a little bit more understanding on the whole. Is the soundtrack coming to Spotify at any point? I don't know. We wanted to, but we didn't want to take monetary donations, because obviously you get royalties if your tracks are on Spotify and they get played. I think one of our developers mentioned that they were looking at a way of doing it so that you don't get paid. So if we can do that, then yes. I think it's possible to add local files to Spotify so that you can have it on Spotify without paying for it. Which is what I did for the Katawa Shoujo soundtracks. I think you have to download the soundtrack, and then there's an option to add local files, and then you can add them all, and that should work. Hopefully. I'm not sure. That's something that I'd have to look into, but Spotify isn't something that we've got at the moment, but it's a maybe. Does Natsuki even show us our poem? This is actually one of my favourite poems from the Act 1. It's basically her just saying fuck you to Yuri, but in poem form. I don't get why people will hate on dumb rhymes. They act like it's dumb and a waste of their time. I don't diss their free verse or deep subject types. Be dark all you want, just keep in your grapes. Oh sure, you can tell me if you have a problem. Just keep it constructive and things will be awesome. I'd like you to know that our readers will differ. There is no best style, you smug old clue sniffer. My poems may be simple and often straightforward, but charm can be found in such whimsy and order. Not all poems can be as complex as you'd like. If you think otherwise, you can go take a hike. What about kids too, or the elderly? What about kids or the elderly too? I can't read. Some read for fun, I guess, unlike you. Let us just go and enjoy what is written. You won't like it at all, that much is a given. But give things a chance, you might find something nice. Just open your mind, and that will suffice. Natsuki be out here throwing shade, but in a Shakespearean form. Also, I wrote no poems at all, because even though I'm a writer, I don't write poems. So I gave all the poems to other poets to write the series with. What's heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? Oop. Oh, I didn't realise that if you write Sayori's poems, Monica refuses to share hers with you. Oh, Yuri. Yuri, that's not cool, bro. Anyway, let's check out our second Monica poem. Pressurized, I float there in vast hollow emptiness. Okay, I'm seeing a very strong theme with these poems, is that they really play along the whole Act 2 Monica thing. I float there in vast hollow emptiness, large but small, grandiose and overwhelming, yet a dust mote, drifting, meandering, carried along in endless void. But then I realise, my eyes open, bloodshot, my mouth opens, gasping for breath in this crushing, suppressing, restraining, boundless, everlasting, suffocating vacuum of torment. Atmosphere, Pascal, tore, screaming with no mouth, stretching, restraining, unrelenting, clawing with no nails, disintegrating in a suffering pound of absence. So, I think this is perhaps a little bit too on the nose. I think the last one struck the balance really well. This one is a bit too much. So, gonna have some choice words for our poets. It was a good poem. I just think that it kind of veers a little bit too much towards the base game rather than keeping it ambiguous like the first poem was, which is cool. Did Natsuki really make a period joke? Well, not a joke, but okay, whatever. Let's just carry on. Oh, the festival. I think everyone has kind of associated the festival with just fear. Both from the base game and from Blue Skies. Oh, we have to choose. Normally I'd pick Yuri, but because we're doing Sayori's route. Sayori's. So this track, which I believe is called Pensive. Wait, is this one Pensive? Yeah, this one's Pensive. I think the track was initially called Alone Again, but we thought Pensive would be funny because, you know, pensive emoji. So we were like, yeah, fuck it. We're calling it Pensive. On Yuri's route and Sayori's route, Yuri and Natsuki become very close friends. Was there ever a plan to become a couple if you went down either Monica or Sayori's route? No, there was not. They're friends and that's it. I personally am not a fan of the Natsuri ship because I don't like this whole opposites attract thing. Yes, I know that in the base game, Natsuki mentioned she wants to become closer to Yuri, but there's no romantic indication there, and I feel like their personalities are just too prickly. Being friends is fine, like, you can work with that, but lovers, I'm not a fan of the ship, personally. And it's not June, so it's not homophobic. That was a joke. Anyway, this pot here was added to kind of emphasize the MC's home life a little bit. In that, you know, he's alone and he has to cook for himself and stuff. Which is a nice small little detail, but that's about it. Anyway. Okay, let's think about this. Sadness, yes. Lazy. Holiday, yeah. We are on a roll. 4 words in. Okay, unrequited, I feel should be a Sayori word, but I know it's a Yuri word. Well, I'm a clown. I played myself, but it all turned out fine. I did get owned. I got absolutely owned. I'm together? Can we get a full Sayori one? Is the question. Seven to go, boys. Can we do it? We're doing so well. Feather. A kilogram of feathers. What's heavier, Sayori? Such a bad Scottish accent. Friends. Alright, one more, guys, we've done it. Yes! Easy clap. Oh yeah, so this scene in the base game on day 4, we know that Sayori is acting a little bit off, and MC kind of is a bit concerned, but kind of doesn't think too much about it. Here, he's a lot more receptive. I'm not going to read over all this stuff, but it's just like a general comment. Oh, so we do get a new Sayori poem here, so that's nice. Sidekick. You know, there are a lot of mods. Now, I'm not naming any mods because this is a Christian mod zone, where they kind of write Sayori as being a bit of an idiot, a bit of a child, and I'm not really a fan of that characterization because I think Sayori isn't an idiot. She just obviously comes off as a bit airheaded. So when I was writing Blue Skies, it was really important to kind of get that humor and intelligence correctly, because Sayori's kind of shrewd, you know, she knows stuff. She just kind of comes across like a bit of an idiot sometimes, but she's not an idiot. Yeah, she has her moments. Alright, so fairy tale. In a kingdom far, far away, there was a castle. In the castle, there was a wish. The wish came to be long, long ago. She was made to be an angel, but I wasn't an angel. I was just a wish to make everyone happy. I took on their burdens and did what I could. I kept safe their dreams like a guardian should. The seeds from my efforts then spread far and wide. I fed them with power I found deep inside. People liked me when I made things right, but they got used to it and stopped believing so much. I watched the children playing and felt sad, but I was happy too. I really was. It truly was enough to be the fairy godmother, the one everyone depended on and trusted. But time kept on passing as I gave my all. I had nothing left and couldn't stand tall, but I kept on going as I'd always done, a soldier in battle with nowhere to run. Even wishes get tired too. Once everyone was happy, my job was done. But what came after? I could see darkness on the horizon. Quick, make it all go away. When everything's big and bright, what more could anyone wish for? Nobody knew how long it would keep up, but they kept living happily, 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 ever after. This is... I mean, we only get one new Sayori poem, so I can't really say it's my favourite poem. Well, I guess I could. But I think I remember Brit's sister wrote this poem, and I really like the symbolism behind it. I mean, it's pretty obvious what it's about, but what I like in particular is how the subject, and I really should have been just discussing this when the poem was on the screen, but the subject changed from there was a wish and they kept everyone happy. And the next line is, I was the wish. So it shows that kind of perspective shift from them to me. And I kind of like how Sayori kind of point of view shifted from a third person perspective to I'm the wish. It was very obvious what she was. I think that's kind of cool for some reason I can't place. Yeah, Brit's sister wrote it, Jacket. That's her name. Well, her Discord name, not her real name. Yeah, so basically it's a poem about someone trying to keep everyone happy. And they get used to it after a while. But that's okay, because they were still happy. It's very obvious. And one of the things that we really wanted to play on was the fact that the dramatic irony, which for those of you who don't know what that is, that's when the reader knows something that the character doesn't. So in this case, we know Sayori has depression, but the MC doesn't. It was really fun to kind of play on that, because I find that it's a really compelling way to keep people interested, because you want the character to know what you know. And that's part of the reason why, in all Blue Skies routes, but in Sayori's as well, the build up to them getting into a relationship doesn't happen until the end of Act 2. So that's a good 3 months. Because obviously realism was the biggest part of Blue Skies, and we wanted to make it so that the relationship was gradual and it built up rather than, oh, I've known you for a week, let's date, which some other mods do, and I'm not a fan of that at all. And here the MC is trying to convince Sayori that, you know, she doesn't need to be alone. People don't need to depend on just Sayori to be happy, and that the angel could share that responsibility. And it gets to a point where the MC knows that he can't directly question her, so he just kind of goes along with it, saying, well, I hope the angel finds happiness soon. Maybe she should share her burdens with other people. She might be surprised at how receptive they are. But obviously, Sayori rejects that idea, saying that'll be selfish, because then the other people will be sad. But the MC is like, nah, maybe they'll want to give back to her. This is MC basically trying to say what he actually wants to say, but through a poem, or discussing a poem. Which I thought was quite nice. What do you have for us, Natsuki? Come on, Natsuki, where's your poem? Something happy, cookies and cream, and my own happy place. Fresh and warm sunshine and a breeze on my face. These are the things that happiness means. Just folded laundry, hot from the dryer, lifts up my spirits that can't go much higher. Puppies and kittens and cute bunnies too, all cuddled up with small barks, squeaks and mews. These are the things that make me beam, sleeping in a big soft bed, listening to rain pit-pat overhead. Talking with friends and laughing aloud, all worries now gone and playing around. These are the things that fill my dreams, but sometimes happiness is hard to find. I know darkness lingers in everyone too, and some people feel the eternal blues. So here is a poem from me to you. Please know that people are all alike. If we stick together, we'll be alright. Let's talk and laugh about happy things, and find the joy that true friends can bring. Okay, it's a well-known fact that I don't like Natsuki, but this is an amazing poem, and it does kind of redeem her a little bit. I like how simple it is, and it's just straight to the point, and it just radiates positivity. And I think in DDLC of all places, I think positivity is what you need. And she wrote it for Yuri, you know, like, maybe I am being a little bit too harsh on Natsuki, but I do like how Natsuki makes more of an effort to get along with Yuri, especially in Yuri's route. You see that a lot. Not so much in Sayori's. So the reason why, when we were writing this mod, something really important that we wanted to do was each mod had a subplot focus on a different Doki. We did that to kind of make the world feel more interconnected. We didn't want the other girls to kind of disappear or become irrelevant just because you start dating someone. So in Natsuki's route, the subplot focus is on Sayori. In Yuri's route, the focus is on Natsuki. And in Sayori's route, the focus is on Natsuki. So you've got a nice... I almost said three-way there. That nice little shared focus between all the routes. Monika's route? I don't think Monika's route would have had a focus on another girl. Monika's route would have been unique in that it didn't have that. So, more tidbits of information about Monika's route. Yeah, we don't want the girls to fall off the face of the earth. It's really important that they don't do that. We want the club to feel interconnected, even before you start dating. Before and after. So it's good to know that turned out. Thank you, Reaper. It's good to know that we integrated the threesome well. Right, Yuri, are you going to show us your poem, or are you going to... Okay, great talk. Show me your poem, bro. Yeah, so here he's a lot more concerned about Sayori. Which is, Okay, Monica, great. Show me your poem, bro. Thank you. The Box Part 2. On my nightstand sits an ornate box, painstakingly crafted, decorated with the most delicate filigree. Beautiful, beautiful. The most beautiful box you'd ever see. In that box stands a slender porcelain ballerina. No, not stands, twirls. She is inanimate, yet animate, cold, yet vibrant, and oh, so beautiful. The most beautiful ballerina you'd ever see. She spins and spins and spins, and the box's melody goes tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. She neither smiles nor frowns, a permanent look of blank composure painted on her facade. She dances for my amusement, yet I'm evaded by amusement. The room spins around me. Vertigo. I want answers, but she gives me more. I slam the box closed, and yet the room still spins. My skin, porcelain. Is this all she is meant to be? Is this the meaning she is supposed to derive? Is this the sole purpose of her existence? And then her skin cracks, shattering. Okay, so this one is a little bit more towards the first poem, where it's not so obviously about her kind of existing in the void, which I like. My understanding from this is that basically Monica is the ballerina, and kind of the desire to be perfect, or the need to be perfect, is kind of, in my opinion, on displayed with the ballerina's behaviour. So she kind of has this cold, it's like it says cold yet vibrant. So she's kind of not emotionally cold, but vibrant. She's so beautiful, this perfect figurine for the whole world to see. She twirls, constantly on her toes. She spins and spins and spins, and the box's melody goes tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. She doesn't smile, she doesn't frown, a look of blank composure, and that relates to Monica being very stoic with her emotions. Painted on her facade. Now it says facade here because obviously that highlights that that's not what she's actually thinking, but that's just the facade that she has for the outside world. And this part here where it says she dances for my amusement, I feel like this is a reference to her parents, in that the person who's asking for the amusement is her parents, and she's the ballerina. And it's basically saying that her parents are forcing her to dance for their amusement. But when it says, and yet I'm evaded by amusement, I think that's referencing her parents not being entertained by her. They're never satisfied with the job that Monica does. And then it swaps back to Monica's perspective, saying that the room spins. She wants answers, but she doesn't get any. And she slams, so her parents slam the box closed, but Monica still has to be perfect. And yet the room still spins, showing that my skin, porcelain, is this all she is meant to be? She's basically saying, is this all I have? Is this the meaning she's supposed to have? Is this the whole meaning of her existence? Is just a spin and look pretty for someone? And then her skin cracks, shattering. To me, that's just saying that that's her breaking point, and that's what you would have explored in Monica's route. I'm really sad that we don't have a Monica route. Maybe it'll come back. Who knows? Because when I read these poems, it kind of makes me look like she's yeah, she's kind of trapped in the box in that lifestyle. That's how I interpret this poem. I mean, I could be wrong, but let's see what she says. I feel like looking for answers and contemplating your reality, are the sorts of things that give life meaning. Not to get too philosophical or anything. Yeah, it was on our mind. Because if we had all the answers, wouldn't the world start to lose its meaning? Yes, there would be a good and bad Monica route. Each girl has at least a good and a bad ending. But Natsuki obviously has 2 more, because reasons. If everything was okay, we wouldn't really have anything to write about, would we? That applies to all of the girls, and it's sad. I was actually thinking about, would Monica die in her bad ending? And I don't think it would work, because obviously with... Okay. I know I said no spoilers, but basically, I don't think that Monica's issue would logically lead to her dying. With depression, obviously you can hang yourself. With self-harm, you can accidentally cut. And with, domestic violence at home, it's very possible to get, beaten up. But with Monica, I don't know. I think the plan was to have her get hit by a car or something, but the plan's changed a lot. For example, in Yuri's, she was meant to jump off a building or something, off the school roof. Obviously that didn't happen because that's ridiculous. So I would take that with a pinch of salt, because it would probably get changed and revised. But I think it would be unique if Monica didn't have a death in her bad ending. It's funny because when she says, do you feel discouraged when something you put a lot of time into doesn't get as much attention as you thought it would? When we were writing the Blue Skies demo, this was way back in the day, we were very... I was very concerned about Purist mod, because I was really concerned that that would be the definitive dating sim mod, and people wouldn't want to play Blue Skies anymore, because they'd be like, oh, well, we're Purists, so why do you want Blue Skies? So I was really concerned about releasing the demo in the summer, because that's when Purists were doing their full release. So I think we released our demo before Purist did, by like a month or so. But I remember thinking that Purist was going to overshadow us. And throughout the entire development cycle, I was really concerned that Blue Skies wouldn't get a lot of attention. But I think after the trailer blew up, I kind of realised that, okay, now that it has 720,000 views, maybe people do care about Blue Skies. Which was nice. Alright, cool, thanks Monica. This is just them doing the poem recitals, blah blah blah. Alright, now, I know in the... If you choose Monica, what happens? Huh. I'm very curious. Oh, that's a spoiler. Let's see what happens if you choose Monica real quick. Oh, you can't choose Monica. Oh yeah, we took it out. Which Doki has the fattest fucking nuts? Sakurai. In the demo, it would have taken you to Monica's Sunday scenes, but obviously now they're in the extras gallery instead. Hang on, let me see if I actually have the Monica CGs. Let me show you. I think I might still have them somewhere. Yes, I do have them. I'll show them to you. Wait, have you guys not seen the Monica CGs? Wait, are they not included in the... Oh, they're not! That's right, you haven't seen them. Interesting, okay. Alright. I'm not going to leak them, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you stuff that's been available to see for 2 years. Yeah, I'm a fucking... deviant. Where would Monica's... Where would her CGs be? I need to stop getting distracted by Discord. I'm trying to find the CGs. Where would they be is the question. Would they be in Artists Atelier? Let me have a look. Oh, that's the Yuri H scene. We definitely don't want to be showing that. God, I'm really going through like really old stuff. I honestly don't know where these CGs would be. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff. Oh, I can show you... I can show you one of them. I found one of them. we drew Emmy with really stupid eyebrows. We had a lot of fun with these designs. Where are these Monica CGs, man? It's really bothering me. Okay, yeah, I can show you one of the CGs. Alright, here's one of them. It is a work in progress though, so obviously it's not finished. But there you go, that's one of them. So that's one of them. There was... That's an extras? Oh, then why are people... Oh, wait, fuck off, Amazon, go away. Don't want them to see all the butt plugs I've been ordering. Yeah, man, you can see all my tabs and everything. Well, there's no porn I've been looking at, so it's fine. Yeah, the rooftop and the piano scene. Those are the only... there's... Yeah, those are the only ones that we have. So, I guess you have seen all of them. Anyway. Yeah, the Owl City instrumentals. Bite me. Okay, back to the thingamajiggies. Yes, there were 3 CGs. There was one where they're hugging, the one where Monica's playing piano, and the one on the rooftop. And if they're all in the game, then why did I waste 5 minutes trying to find them? Wait, did Natsuki and Yuri just like yeet the Shadow Realm? Yes, Gundam boots and wig. I'm doing a Gundam cosplay from Danganronpa 2. Will the CGs and artwork ever be downloadable? I mean, if you want to find the H scenes, people have already uploaded them to DDLC Rule 34. The other CGs, I don't know. We'd rather not release them because people might steal them and stuff. But I'm sure you can just go to settings, gallery, and... Oh, thank God it censors these by default, otherwise I'd be in trouble. We can still like that. Anyway, we're almost at the festival. What's the photo CG? What do you mean? Whoops, spoilers. Oh, that's the bad ending CG. Who made the executive decision to have H scenes in Blue Skies? Me. I was horny. That's why. No, we added them after we played KS. We kind of discussed it as a team. Me and Curie were all for it. So we were like, yeah. Add some titties. So this was just like a... Can't go wrong with titties. Yes. I agree. You wish you could help satiate Blue Skies' horniness? Okay, I'm not sure if that's how you meant to word it, but that came across as very suggestive. I appreciate the offer, but I think I'm okay, bro. Well, you've got the word lolly in your name. I don't want to go to jail, even though this month is apparently the month for all the pedos to come out of hiding, but... No, I'm not into children, sorry. Anyway, before I get banned from Twitch, let's carry on with the stream. So this is basically a nice simple day, which just shows what life was like between these two before, you know, shit at the fan. When does the Mom see Relu getting released to public? bruv, I didn't write the Mom C route, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Sayori's in a better mood, blah blah blah. This is all just boring stuff, to be honest. It was kind of fun writing these little bookmarks, because you could have a lot of fun with how dumb you could make them. A lot of the stuff is really on the nose, looking back. I wrote this when I was 20... How old was I when I wrote this? February 2018, so I was 23. I'm 25 now, which really puts it into perspective. The Smash scene stuff? What do you mean? They don't play Smash Bros in Blue Skies, do they? No, they don't. Dude, Mario Kart is Encore, Kelvy. How dare you compare the godly Encore to Blue Skies? Oh, we're getting the CG coming up soon. Yeah, Sayori's route is extremely easy to get the good ending. Yuri's is a lot harder, and Natsuki's is like a Rubik's Cube. That's how I think about it. Oh, so... I thought I was being really funny when I was putting in this reference. So, they're looking for quotes to write on the banners, and there's one that Sayori finds that says, "There's no real ending, it's just the place where you stop the story." And I thought, wouldn't it be funny to say, "Yeah, a poem is never actually finished, it just stops moving, haha, I'm so funny." The temptation to put references into the base game is extremely strong. More so when I was writing Act 1, because that's when I was a dumb 23-year-old. Now, I'm just like, eh. Like, I've play tested mods before that have references to the base game, which can be fine. It's just, like, for example, when the MC opens a door and he says, "I gently open the door," and it's just like, okay, bruv, you don't need to put that in. I'm only 21, so you're not young and dumb. It's all perspective, my friend. How come there are several pop culture references that remain unnamed, like at Halloween? Is it just copyright issues? No, I just wanted a bit of subtlety. I figured saying, "Hey look, it's Freddy Krueger" would be a bit jarring. It's more fun to just weave it in. Like, my references, for the most part, tend to go on the subtle side. And Halloween was, I think, not particularly subtle, but I didn't want to say, "Oh look, it's Scooby-Doo, it's Michael Myers, it's Freddy Krueger, it's the girl from The Ring." You know, I kind of want to make it a little bit more. Nick, shut up. It's not funny. Go write cinnamon. Come on, where's that tickle CG? You know it's here. Okay, so this CG, I'm gonna lock the door because my parents come in now. There's gonna be a lot of questions. This was the first CG that was done for Blue Skies, I believe. This was done by Curie, or Brit. And I like it a lot. I think the shading on Sayori's hair and her eyes is incredible. Well, Brit is a very talented artist, but yeah, it was very nice. Some people said that it looked rapey, and I'm like, I'm not even going to respond to that because that's just ridiculous. But there were people who thought that this CG looked like another CG from Salvation. Let's see if I can find it. Doki Doki Salvation Sayori CG. Yeah, there were people who said that the CG that you just saw, perfect. Look, you can compare it. This one here, they're saying that this looks like the Yeah, thank you. I'm a sucker for Banjo-Kazooie, as you can probably tell. They said that these two CGs look quite similar. I mean, to an extent. I think that the shading on Sayori's hair is better, and the eyes are better in ours, but I'm biased. I think that Salvation CG is very nice though, so yeah, that's nice. I'm just biased towards Curie's art, because it's really good. Anyway. Right. So. This is just them tickling him tickling her. Now, for those of you that have played Blue Sky's route, you will notice that kind of tickling / awkward sexual tension or energy builds up and up and up, and then it comes to a climax. Pun fully intended at the end of the journey. Because we didn't just want to have a random sex scene that's very left field. Oh, something else. So there's a part here where the MC is waiting for Sayori to come out for the festival, and she takes a while coming out because obviously she's overslept. And I remember I was watching Afro Zero's playthrough of the Blue Skies demo, and he was really scared that Sayori like killed herself. Didn't really realise that people were thinking about that, but he was like, "Oh shit, wait, where is she? She's not here. Please don't tell me she's dead." And then she appears and is all good. Anyway, let's skip to the festival. So this music was done by Nick, and you'll notice that it has 3 different stages and 3 different names. Festival with an exclamation mark, and then one second. I'm glad my microphone was turned off. Anyway. Mum came in asking me to go for a walk, and I'm like, nah bro, I've got a route to comment on. I do like the guitar that came in. Yeah, my parents came in to let CG a minute earlier. Although to be fair, the way my room is set up is that the door is right in front of the, like, behind the monitor. So even if they did come in, I'd have enough time to tactically click the escape button. Anyway. Oh, this is another example of me thinking I was really fucking funny when I first wrote this. So, this quote here is a Monica quote. She says this in the base game, and I thought it'd be funny to reference that, because obviously they were looking for quotes online. So I thought, why not put a Monica one in? Because, no, I will not show the HD in the stream because I don't want to get banned. I'll have to censor it. Which reminds me, yeah, so they're like, oh, we couldn't find out who said that, which is a shame. Yeah, because Monica said it in an alternate timeline, Sayori. Oh, that's a coding error. Oops. This OST is inspired for the... Yes, the Katsuo Shoujo soundtrack definitely inspired Blue Skies'. If the festival succeeded, that would be boring because there'd be no conflict. I'm coding all this. Its background was really hype when we put it in. Alright, we can just skip all this because we know what happens. Festival goes really badly. So this is another variant. It's called Festival with a question mark. And this is basically, as you can tell, Nick deliberately put in some notes that sound a bit off. The tempo was a little bit weird. And this was a slight callback to the base game in Act 2, where the music that you know is edited slightly to sound a bit dissonant, a little bit off. And that was deliberately done. One, to make you feel the unease, and also to throw back to the base game, because I loved how the game took music and distorted it slightly, but only slightly, to kind of give the impression that something slightly is wrong. I think that's much more effective than just having like a spooky track or a very loud one, for example. I think that's really clever game design. Why was Sayori the third one to do her poem when she's the vice president? I don't know, bro. I do not know. And then it just... Oh, hey, Sayori. This was a nice background. It was really fun. I think Forfun had a lot of fun making this. Or maybe he didn't, who knows. Where's the music? Please tell me there's music. Oh yeah, there is. Cool. Big ass argument. I think one of the drawbacks from writing this scene was that we made Natsuki a bit too antagonistic, but it was kind of hard. Like arguments need to feel natural, and we kind of felt that like Natsuki would probably be the one to lash out, because obviously she's known for her hot-headed temperament. So why did you add characters like Sayori if she only appears in like 2 scenes? She doesn't. She appears in Yuri's route a fair bit. Although looking back, we did wish we added more Sayori. She was added really to kind of world building purposes, but yes, we could have added a bit more of her. I do agree with that. That's something that we wish we did looking back. I think she was going to appear more in the Monica route. We're starting to see a pattern here, because they're good friends. But yeah. She was going to be added in the Monica route. Not she is in the Monica route, because we do not have one. Who should we back? I'm sorry, Natsuki, but I'm gonna go with Monica. Oh yeah, so this line here. Natsuki saying, "You, what would you of all people know about life being hard?" And Monica is very much taken aback by that comment. It's easy for you, Monica, with your role as the queen of this school, everyone liking you, all that crap. You have such a perfect life and all, never having to defend your interests, never having anyone ridicule you for the things that you like. So she's really out there. Sayori would be a better president than you could ever be. And that's when they're just like, mic drop. But again, it was really important here that Monica still remains composed. She doesn't break, she doesn't cry, she just leaves. I know this goes to show how stoic she is, where even if she's really hurt, she doesn't really outwardly let her emotions get the better of her. So, initially, in the demo, there was a gently open the door reference here, but I told Brett to take it out, and she did, so that's nice. I questioned 2 things. Why did Natsuki have an H scene, and who had the sanity to make them for Sayori and Yuri? Oh, I've said this so many times. Natsuki is a first year. She's not 18. We're not Nairo. We're not about that life. And also, she's a victim of physical abuse, so I wouldn't really think she'd be raring to have sex with another male. Not to imply that she had sex with her dad, but the point that I'm making is that she's averse to physical contact. You see a lot in her route that she doesn't even like hugging or kissing. So I think having sex would be a bit of a step that she's not prepared to take. So that's why. And who had the sanity to make them for Sayori and Yuri? I don't know what you mean by sanity. I don't know what's so insane about writing an H scene. I wrote Sayori's H scene. Yuri wrote Yuri's, but I added a few like description details here and there. And then the CG. Kyori drew the Sayori one, and Serki drew the Yuri one. That's all I can say, really. I don't see what's so insane about them. There was going to be a CG here for Monica. It was in the demo. Did you base the description details on your own experiences? What description details? What, for the H scene? Oh man, we're really going there, aren't we? I doubt people want to know about my sex life, so I'll just say yes, partially, but not everything, because people don't want to know those details. So Monica here is very, what's the word? She's very somber. This is one of Monica's tracks. I think it's called... Is this the one with that funny French title? No, it's not. This is Longing for a Smile. Trust me, you do. You want the details? Look, I don't really want to give away those intimate details of my life on stream. But what I will say is that I also use the H scenes from Kato Shoujo as an inspiration. Specifically Lily's route. So, for the first time, I was actually looking at porn for research purposes. Oh, that's great. But anyway, back to the route here. So Monica is very... She really takes to heart what Natsuki said about her not being a very good president. That's something that really... Why did Yuri and MC do it in the dark? Because Lily is blind? No, it's not because Lily is blind. It's because... Okay, I'm going to give you a slight spoiler warning. So for the next like 10 seconds, if you haven't played Yuri's route, just mute it. So for 10 seconds, okay. It's because Yuri is very body conscious of herself. And that's something you notice in Yuri's route. That's why they do it in the dark. Bang, it's safe to come back now. Yeah, so this is just MC saying that Monica's a good president and she really appreciates that. And they all make up. Yay! Now they're on day 7, which is the final day before we get a nice blue text box. Okay, so this what do you call it? This phone sprite. This was Crash Punk's idea. He there's a visual novel that he's a huge fan of called Steins Gate, and they have a phone, and Chris wanted to put that in the mod. And I'm glad that he did, because it kind of makes a huge difference rather than just saying text speak in a normal text box, as opposed to actually creating a nice background for it, sprite for it. Will there be a secret ending if you delete the character files or get all the CGs eventually? No, but there might be something if you get all the good endings. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you're a secret hunter. What was my inspiration to make Blue Skies? That's a question that will take a long time to answer. So, I'll give you the short answer. It was, I personally have always wanted to write a story. I've always wanted to try writing. And Blue Skies gave me the opportunity to do it. And I've always wanted to see what my writing would be like, if people would like it. And that's part of the reason why I joined. We wanted to kind of tell a different story on DDLC. Like a psychological, realistic take. The realism was the really important part. Because I didn't like mods where Sayori's depression was cured by love, or that kind of thing. Yeah, people have issues with OBS and the Sprite for some weird reason. I'm not sure why. Are you planning on making any more mods? No, we're not making any more mods for GDLC. That text noise, that da 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 da, is actually the Pokemon Center healing noise. When you give your Pokemon to Nurse Joy, it goes da 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 na na. Speed it up and you get da 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 da. That's what we did because you know little Easter eggs. Some people noticed it. Some people who are huge Pokemon fans didn't, which I found quite funny. They know who they are. See? Da, 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 da. You won't be able to unhear it now. Yeah, Xenoblade, I'm sorry bro, I'm calling you out. There are a lot of Easter eggs and little references in this mod. I'll point them out, don't worry. Blah blah blah. Is this mod completely done, or are you guys still planning to add on to it? Okay, I'm gonna address this now so that people don't ask it again. I know people want the Monica route, and like I said in the dev stream, there is a possibility, not a big one, but it is there, that we will go back and add Monica's route. But don't get your hopes up. It's very unlikely to happen, but it is possible. All I'm saying is that we have Nick, who would be willing to make music for Monica, and we have Serki, who I wouldn't mind commissioning to do Monica CGs. So what I'm saying is it's possible. The problem is finding a writer who wants to write 100,000 words, because that's a big ask. I'm surprised all the references that you didn't add a Star Wars reference. Okay, I might get crucified for saying this, but I've never watched Star Wars, and I don't really have any interest in it. And I don't think Kyuri, who wrote Yuri's Route with me, has either. And Tiffany, the guy that wrote Natsuki's Route, I'm not sure about him. But basically, the writers, as far as I'm aware, aren't huge Star Wars fans. But, okay, everyone's saying that you love to write Monica's Route. I guarantee you that you won't, because 2 months in, you'll realise how much hell it is. But if you're really, really willing to do it, then we can, you know, we can discuss it further in DMs after the stream. 100,000 words? Dude, 100,000 words is half the battle. Try coding all those words. Ask Nick. Paku Park? I have no idea what that's a reference to. I think I just picked a random name. Cinnamon! What a track. So, Sayori's Route, kind of, it's really important when I was writing Sayori's Route to kind of capture the nostalgic past that the MC and Sayori have. That's why there's so many references to what they did as kids, and also the flashbacks. Paku Park does sound like a Mario Kart map, and you're right. Paku Park. It reminds me of Baby Park, but even more Japanese. And it's hell, but considering COVID has you doing nothing with your life, okay, what you need to understand is that this would likely take... It'd probably take until the end of the year to finish. Like, it's going to take you at least a couple of months. And what's really important is the quality of the writing. So if you really... if anyone is actually interested in taking up Monica's route, which... rather you than me, we would need to see examples of your previous writing. And it would have to be really good. And we're not trying to be pretentious or mean about it. It's just... Monica... If we added Monica's route, people would expect it to be really good. So there'd be a high... a big shoes to fill. So... But if you're still confident in yourself, then okay, we can discuss this after stream. And for those of you who think that this is me saying there's going to be a Monica route, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it could be, but don't bank on it. But that's my official stance. But hey, if you're confident and you want to send me, you know, examples of your work that we can look at, then I'm willing to at least entertain the idea. Well, it's not really me that you need to impress, it's Sayori, and her judgment is even harsher than mine. So, make of that what you will. Oh yeah, there's a part where MC says, it's not like you to be so depressing. Those kind of things were fun to write. Like, if you ever write a mod or a piece of writing, playing off dramatic irony is really, really enjoyable. I've seen so many people be like, bruh, when they read that. I'm just like, yep, I know what I wrote. What was your other question? Sorry, I'm trying to focus on the route and also answer chat while I can, and it's a little bit difficult to do both. Cloud gazing. So, are we looking for musicians? No, I think we're okay. I appreciate the offer, but the wonderful Nick has music on lockdown. Were there any changes made to the poem minigame? In the demo we had Monica, and we had Monica words. So that was a change, but we cut them back out, so it's more like the base game at this point, so not really. There was initially going to be a CG here. A very, very simple one, granted, where it was just their arms. I actually pointed my arms towards the screen, then I realised I don't have a face cam. I do have a webcam somewhere, but I'm not going to turn it on because you'll never know what I look like, except for Nick and Xenoblade Hero, who's met me in real life. But anyway, there was going to be a CG here. We never got around to it. There were a lot of things that we had planned to do that we never got around to doing. Yeah. Oh, we can just skip a little bit ahead. Alright, see you later, Davy. Nice talking to you. It's really cool that the little flashbacks that the MC talks about here are actually flashbacks that you see later in the route. You're very welcome. I'm glad you liked it. Because obviously, as you guys know, there are flashbacks in Sayori's route, and one flashback in Yuri's route as well. That reference some of the things that they talk about here, which I thought was really fun to add. This is just them talking about like the poems and stuff and what the inspiration was, blah blah blah. Alright, so this is actually a really important scene that I want to talk about. So Sayori asks, talking about poems. So Sayori says, what you said reminds me of something Monica once told me. Something about if you don't have confidence, just fake it until people believe you do. Sometimes I wonder if she really is confident or if that's all just a show. I get the feeling that sometimes you can never tell with people. And Sayori says, well, the reason why I'm asking is because it's nice to surprise people. Let me ask you, if you had to describe me in a few words, which words would you choose? And MC says stuff like bubbly, light-hearted, cheerful, adventurous, that kind of thing. Very kind. And that her most definitive trait is her happiness. And she says, everyone picks up on everything that you just mentioned. But, hang on, where am I going with this? Yeah, they'd find Sayori asking this question a bit unlike her, if you get what she's saying, because of how she acts in the literature club. In the literature club, she's very happy, she's very carefree. She doesn't really talk about deeper things. So yeah, aside from my poetry, I never really talk about deeper things or things that aren't just aimlessly happy. I guess I just don't want to bother people with that sort of stuff. And MC's like, why would it bother them? Like, people wouldn't mind if you talked about things that weren't just so aimlessly cheery, you know? And Sayori mentions to Natsuki about, you know, how she likes to live in the past, and Natsuki calls her out for it. There was initially going to be a choice here where you either say you are living in the past, or saying that's not a problem. It wasn't going to be worded in such a way that it was like a bad choice. Because there's one thing that I do regret in Sayori's route is not adding more choices. Because compared to Natsuki's route and Yuri's route, there are like 4 choices maximum in Sayori's route, whereas Yuri has 8 and Natsuki has like 15 million. But sometimes it's nice to, you know, have a nice simple route, you know, a little bit of variety. So yeah, this whole scene really is also to kind of hammer home that bond that they used to have. Friends Forever. Epic Iron Man, if you download the soundtrack on SoundCloud, you will get Friends Forever included as a bonus track. So that should help you. So MC likes seeing this different side to Sayori, and but she worries that she's boring him, and he's like, no, it's completely fine. I like seeing this different side to you. It, you know, makes for a nice change of pace, and he likes talking to her no matter what. So, and this is when MC basically reassures her, saying, Sayori, people are always going to enjoy being your friend, even if you aren't really chipper all the time. Don't hide anything. It's fine. See ya. Now, this bit here, where she says there is something I could tell you, this was an example of poor planning on my part. So obviously the implication is that she's going to tell him about her depression, but when you actually get to the depression confession scene, you'll notice how it wouldn't really work if she just told him that she was depressed here. So that's kind of bad on my part. However, to my defense, what I can say is it's left ambiguous here what she was going to tell him. Is this about Fairy Tale, her behaviour on Friday, some other secret that's coming right out of the blue, or perhaps something else entirely? I think it is implied that it's going to be her depression, but looking back, I'm just going to say it wasn't, because if it was, that would be really bad writing on my part. The truth is, But then, bang, we get interrupted by Momsy. Sayori's gay, yeah. That'd be interesting. And no, the ringtone is not a reference to anything, it's just a generic ringtone. Mom. And everyone's saying that Momsy is really hot. And I'm like, yeah, she is. But we're not going to write a Momsy route because that's incest, and this game's not set in Alabama. Okay, so a lot of the Momsy dialogue was actually inspired by my own mum. Things like asking if you're eating well, exercising, drinking loads of water. I'm pretty sure that that's not a specific thing to my own mom. I'm sure that many mothers around the world, when they're not physically at home with their children, often ask about if they're eating well or drinking well. My mum definitely is like that. So a little bit of my mum's personality is very different to Momsy's, but those kind of mothering elements were put in her character because obviously being a mother is universal for mothers. Did I tell her? No, I didn't. Mom! Oh, she's downstairs, I can't tell her. I'll tell her later. You know, it's funny, because my mum... I've always enjoyed English in high school, and my mum was very aware of it, and she really wanted me to write a book, or like write a story. And I remember like a couple of weeks ago, she was saying, oh, it'd be really nice if you wrote a story. And I was like, well, it's funny you mentioned that. I did tell her a little bit about Blue Skies, but my mum, obviously, my parents, you know, very different generation, they're not very well versed with visual novels. So I'm like, how do I explain it to them? I was like, yeah, I have written a story, and like thousands of people have downloaded the mod, which, by the way, we're at 25,000 downloads, which is kind of crazy, so thank you. Humble brag. And I was like, how do I explain it to my parents? Like, it's an online story that you can download, and it's free. And they're like, why is it free? Like, you should charge for it, make loads of money on it. And I was like, yeah, about that. And they're like, what's it about? And I was like, how do I explain like depressed anime? You know, like my parents, I don't normally watch anime, so it's not like they've seen me watching it before. So it's just like, it's weird. But my parents are aware. My parents are aware that I've written stuff, they just don't know exactly what it is. Also, imagine explaining to my parents that I wrote an H scene, and, well, 2 of them technically, I helped Brit write the second one. That would just be really awkward. Do a Let's Play with my parents. Starring Swampert's mum. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I have worded that it's about with mental illness, and because I did psychology at uni, she mentioned that I should do more of this stuff, and I was like, yeah. Anyway, slightly distracted. If we add Monica's route back, then obviously there will be new CGs and music and stuff, but otherwise, no. Yeah, my mum always asks me if I'm eating well. It was like one of the first things she asks me, so I put that in here because obviously mothering traits 101. So the moment's gone, basically. Like, it's not really the time to talk about the thing anymore. I'm trying to think about how awkward it would be, like, skipping through the H scene with my parents. I think my dad would understand, like, you know, he knows that blah blah blah, but my mum, no. Well, the problem with the toggle nudity thing is that you still get the sprites, and the CG is blacked out, but you still get to read it, and it's kind of, you know, explicit. It's not like, what's the word? It's not like, I'm sure you've read like some really rude, like dirtily written H scenes. Like, that's not how we wrote ours, but still, that's not stuff I want to talk about my parents. That's just weird. I want to save here because I want to talk about this little title card. So, title cards. So this title card here was very much inspired by Kazuha Shoujo because it has animations, full-on animations that transition between the acts. Obviously, we didn't add that because we don't have that kind of resource, but it just goes to show like the inspiration that was there. And the title being past, present, and future, I think summarizes Act 2 very nicely because you've got the flashbacks, them in the present, and at the end of the act, they talk about their future together. And the little drawing is quite a nice little touch, which is nice. And actually, I'm going to show you guys something which you won't know about. Okay, so you know that jingle that you heard? That jingle that you heard that plays when you go from act to act? There are actually two different versions. If I could find it. There was one version which had a DDLC motif in it, and one that didn't, and we used the one that had the DDLC motif. That didn't have the DDLC motif in it. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. You get to have a listen to this one. It's the shortest thing that you ever composed. Right, let's see if this... You should be able to hear it. So this is the original one, I think. That's the one that you all know and love. This is the alternative one. As much as I like DDLC motifs, I really think that the one without sounds better, in my opinion. But that's just me. Oh, for fuck's sake, hang on, sorry, my Twitch is being a bitch. Okay. Yeah, we could have had the yeah, the motive is a little bit too overbearing. So I'm glad that how do I play Katua Shoujo? Is it on Steam? It's not on Steam. You just type in Katua Shoujo on Google and you'll find it, and it's free. You don't pay with money though. You pay with your feels. Alright, also new text. Wow, it took an hour and a half, 2 hours if you count the first stream, to get to Sayori's route. Wow, there's definitely going to be more parts to the stream because we're not going to be able to finish it in one go. New text box. We wanted to add text boxes for each Doki. I'm sure you guys have all seen them. I'm assuming that some of you haven't seen what Monica's text box looks like, and I'm going to show you. So give me a sec. No, it's not green actually. It's orange. Here you go. On our thing, you can see it. So this is what the others look like, and this is what Monica's look like. It was basically going to be a day-night cycle. That's what the thing was. So you've got nighttime, morning, dusk, or dawn. I always get the two mixed up. And then this one's evening. I am really sad that we never got to use it, because it's so pretty. One day, guys. One day. Anyway, back to the mod. I don't know why I said that in a shitty French accent. But anyway. Very nice. Okay. Now, am I not allowed to be happy? It's funny you say that, Sayori. Alright. It's really obvious. Actually, no, it's not obvious. If you know me, it's obvious who Makoto is referencing. If you don't know me, it's probably a little bit more open-ended. But 10 points to Gryffindor if someone could figure it out. Who isn't Kelby? 9 times out of 10, if you see a Japanese name, it's going to be referencing something. So, the reason why we put a Uranus joke, and yes, I know it's called Uranus, not Uranus, was because when I was a kid, I found it funny. I still do now. So I wanted to add a little homage to that in the form of a little prank that MC pulls on Sayori. It's not Makoto from Persona 5. Because I got into Persona after Blue Skies came out. I'm currently playing Persona 4 Gold now, and that game slaps. What is Momsy's real name? We haven't given her one. Because she's your mum, and if she has a name, I think that would kind of take you out of it a little bit. So, Momsy is her name. You're free to give her whatever name you want. So the track Student at Heart, which is the one that's playing now, I think it was inspired by a Hat in Time track, but I think Nick said it doesn't. It was something else. I can't remember. My memory is hazy, and Nick knows more about the music than I do. So ask him. It's not Makoto from Persona 5. There are other video games that have Makoto as a protag, and it's not Persona. Persona 3, yeah. It's not any Persona game. So Sakurai's like dialogue and his general sense of humor. There's a character, I can't remember which character it is. There was a character from a book. It's a well-known book, so it's not going to be like. And yes, it is Danganronpa Makoto. There's a character from a book that has very similar mannerisms to Sakurai. Was it from Harry Potter or was it Darren Shan? I can't remember. My browser encountered an error while decoding the video. Is the stream still running? Or is it dead? The stream is dead on my end. Wait, let me just relaunch it. Still running? Okay, it's just my browser being a shithead. Okay, we're back. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it's Makoto from Danganronpa 1. Because Danganronpa was a game that I got into last summer. After Nick bugged me to play it for over a year, I told him no because I wasn't interested. Finally played it and fell in love with it. Funny how that works, isn't it? So Emi being on the track team, for those of you that know Katawa Shoujo, that's a direct reference. She's on the track team in Katawa Shoujo. I wanted to put that in here. Also, Emi does have the cat face, the :3 face, which I'm not going to type out because it will minimise the stream, but she has that anime face, which is nice. So Shiori, her head's a bit big. Probably should have made it a little bit smaller, but alas. First World War, I think is more interesting than the second one. Random fact no one cared for. Initially, no, Hisawa's not in this score. What was I going to say? Initially, when we wrote the Sayori route, there was a lot more actual history stuff, but people complained saying that they didn't want a history lesson, so I took a lot of it out. Which is a shame, because I thought that the First World War was cool, but apparently not. Physics in the morning. I'm trying to think if I ever had physics in the morning at some point during high school. I remember on Monday morning we had German for 2 hours. That was not nice. I don't think we did, but physics is my least favourite science, so. Emmy mentions her boyfriend a little bit in Sayori's route as well. Yeah, French, I'm not a big fan of French. Like, German was my favourite language to learn. French was a bit meh. We had the choice to learn Spanish, but I chose German instead. It's just my least favourite science. I was always a biology dude, so. I've been to Germany once. When I went to the States, we had a layover in Berlin, or was it Hamburg, or Frankfurt? It was one of those big cities for like 2 hours. And I thought, okay, I want to go practice my German at the airport. And I had to ask this lady for a schnitzel, and I could not remember how to ask. It was How do you say I would like in German? God, these German verbs. I know that kaufen is to buy. I don't remember. Dude, it's been a long time since I've spoke German. Looking back, I kind of do regret making everything about cinnamon in series route. Like, yeah, we get it, cinnamon bun, haha. I did ever do it a little bit. I would have changed that in hindsight, but hindsight is 2020. And here, when MC starts to notice how like warm and soft her hands are, that kind of thing, that was really important in kind of gradually building up that that slow build to them falling in love. I didn't want to just make it left field where they just start dating out of nowhere. I think we have our first flashback today. Yes, we do. Okay, now, I've been waiting for this scene because this track is my favourite track from Blue Skies. It's called Rose Tinted Glasses. That's my favourite track. And I remember when we were designing this track, oh, there is so much fun. Yes, Nick. So, when Nick was creating this track, he gave me three or four piano choices. One was electric, one was acoustic. I can't remember what the other two were, but it was something like that. And he asked me to choose which one I wanted. And it was just like, it's difficult because each one sounds so good. But anyway, the point being, I'm going to divulge how the music creation process worked. So for some scenes, we just said to our musicians, go crazy, do whatever you want, right? Other ones where I had a more specific focus in mind, what I would do is I would give musicians a track from a different game or a TV show, well, pretty much from a video game. And I would say, I want you to take the general tone of this and make the Blue Skies track based on it. Now, for those of you who do not know, I mean, I've already mentioned it, but I don't care, I want to do it again because I love it. This track specifically is based on a MapleStory track. MapleStory is a very old MMO that came out that was big when I was growing up as a kid. So in 2005, from 2008, 2009, I used to play it with my friends. So it's very nostalgic for me. So I'm going to show you the track that directly inspired this one. Alright. Let's find it. Okay, so what I want you to do is I will play both of them to you, and you will... I will, don't worry, I'm just getting the track up. Right, so I'm going to mute the bass game real quick. Okay, so I'm going to show you Rose Tinted Glasses. Well, obviously you know what that sounds like, but let me turn that on. Okay, so here is Rose Tinted Glasses. Oh. You know what it sounds like? Specifically when the drums start. So, you know, you kind of get an idea of the piano, the drums, the kind of general feel of the track. Now, because nostalgia is a very broad term, what's nostalgic to one person is not nostalgic to another and vice versa, so it's kind of difficult to get that kind of broad sense of nostalgia. And there are so many tracks we could have chosen. We could have gone for like Mario 64, like Ocarina of Time. So there are many choices, but I wanted to go a little bit out there and a little bit different. So that's Rose Tinted Glasses. Now this is the track it was inspired by. specific part where you can really hear the similarities. Here. Like, at this point, it becomes really obvious that Rose Tinted Glasses was inspired by this track. Like, the drums, the acoustic drums, like, you can really hear the similarities between the two tracks. And I remember when I was creating this track, all the flashback scenes, I said to Nick, this is one track that I really have a specific idea in mind. And what's really cool about this track is it's a reference to the login music from MapleStory 1, which is even older than MapleStory 2. So it's like 2 bits of nostalgia in one go. It's crazy. But yeah, like you can really hear the things there. It's great. I love it. Rose Tinted Glasses is one of my favorites. And just because we're on a nostalgia roll, I'm going to show you MapleStory login music. So this is the remix. That's basically the melody, and this is the original. So it's like 2 bouts of nostalgia in one go. It's honestly crazy. For those of you who haven't played MapleStory, I would apologise for going on about it, but I won't, because memories are precious. I mean, I could have chosen this track as the reference rather than the remix, but I felt like this one has a kind of air about it that just sounds more nostalgic to me. I don't know, it's up in the air. Anyway, enough about that, back to Blue Skies. Yeah, Area of the Soul. Good track. Anyway. That's the only time we ever see Dad see, and that's the only time that MC says Daddy. Or that anyone else says Daddy in the whole mod for that thing. Nick, I'm not gonna go over the ice cream van story, because no, but Nick knows exactly what I'm talking about here. So where's baby Sayori? There she is. Okay, so there's not really much. Are they words American or British? For the most part, they're American. I had to write in American English, and it was the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, baby Sayori. Well, it's not really baby. She's more like a young child, but not a baby. But anyway, young Sayori, or young Yori, as we call her. There's not really much to say about young Sayori, to be honest. She's just there. Ice cream van is what British people say, as Nick told me. Ice cream truck is what Americans say. So, that's literally the entire story. And Nick always laughs at me for saying ice cream van, because my Britishisms always leak into the mod and people call me out on it. But anyway, young Sayori, so she's just cool. She's just there. She's just vibing. My drum kit just made a funny noise. Weird. Anyway, yeah, so that's her. I remember when we posted a sprite of Sayori on the subreddit, people were saying she's really, really cute, and some people were saying like it's lolly Sayori. And they were like, why you gotta make it weird, bro? Why you gotta be like that? Yeah, don't call her a lolly, bro. That's just strange. Oh, it was called Truck in the US? Then, I don't know, Nick. Why are you calling me out for things that don't need calling out for? Oh yeah, so this is the bit where Sayori tries to say cinnamon, but she can't pronounce it. Simnanon. Wait, did I write van? I wrote van, not truck. I'm getting the two mixed up. It's been a long day. I've only been awake for like 6 hours. Yeah, so MC can't pronounce synonym. Cinnamon. He deliberately mispronounces it as Simnanon because it's a big word. I'm glad that no one has said that's a typo because it's intentional. So I think in other routes, the MC mentions that they met and bonded over food. I think it's only in Sayori's route you actually see the flashback. So when we were writing Blue Skies, we wrote them so that the routes complement each other. So that's exactly what they do. They give you more of an insight in Sayori's route. This is the only time you hear about Sayori's mum. And a lot of Sayori's traits remain the same in her teenage years. So, for example, her mum telling her not to eat all the candy before dinner, but she does it anyway. She has a bit of a sweet tooth. That typo in the Halloween cutscene has been fixed. And that's how they made friends. They bonded over food. I thought it was very fitting. But Sakurai's like, bro. This kind of dry sarcasm. Oh, that's why you stayed up late, because you're reading about the war, right? And MC's like, haha, yeah. And he plays along with it. Can you explain how Great Britain got involved with the war? Because Germany invaded through Belgium, which was a neutral territory, and they had a treaty with England saying that if they get invaded, England has to come help. That's your answer. Boom! That late night study session really paid off. Pog champ. Well, yeah, it's a British question. Do you know how much representation we get in Doki mods? Fucking nothing. I had to put it in a little bit of love. Seeing as I have to write the mod in American English, I like to get my kicks in when I can. But Sakurai's a really cool teacher who like knows his students, and he likes to kind of play along with the idea that being called out by a teacher is spooky. But he just wants to know how the MC is doing in his classes. He's very concerned about his students, which is nice, having teachers that actually care rather than ones that don't. And Sakurai kind of waves away his apology. Why did we write the mod in American English? Because the base game is written in American English. And most DDLC fans are American. Compared to the UK, the US, the British Doki scene is non-existent. Like, I've gone to Comic Cons before and I've seen Dokis, right? But compared to like American cons, there are way more American DDLC fans. Alright, let's invite Yuri. Yeah, you do. I've seen a few Doki cosplayers at Comic Cons before. They're not common, but I do see a few of them pop up at time to times. I've gotten a few photos with Doki cosplayers before. That was a really cool Monica one that I met. Yeah, DDLC was on British News once. Yeah, because some some kid committed suicide after playing the game, and because the BBC are fucking stupid, they attributed the suicide to DDLC, not realising that the game says, disclaimer, this game has some spooky shit in it, don't play if you're easily disturbed. But that sign won't stop them because they can't read. But anyway, moving on. So Yuri's just bawling. Yeah, they did, because they were saying that like the characters texted you, and it's like, bro, I wish that Yuri texted me, you know what I'm saying? So the only time that DDLC appears on the news is because it's getting a bad rep. Feels bad. Oh, Halloween. I am going to go through Halloween in this playthrough because there is so much to talk about with Halloween that I can't not do it. It was really fun writing for Yuri. Why is there a skip Halloween option? Because Halloween is in all 3 routes and it stays the same between all 3 of them. So if people don't want to see the same long day 3 times in a row, they can skip it. But Christmas changes depending on the route you're in, so you can't skip that. This is Play With Us, not Play With Me. This is the Soviet Union version that Nick composed. I think this is the only remix of a bass track. No, we had the Halloween versions of Your Reality. I keep forgetting about those 2. But I do like how this adds drums and a hi-hat. There it is. Nick loves his hi-hats and his ride cymbals. It's very upbeat. I love the constant 16th notes. Are those 16th notes or 8th notes on the hi-hats? Never mind, I'm rambling. I'm sure Nick can tell me. 16th, yeah, I thought so. Is it 8th? No, it's 16th. Well, I think now it... Okay, we're getting a little bit sidetracked. Anyway. Where's Monica? There she is. Alright, so it swaps from 16th to 8th. Yeah, that's fair. Halloween, so a Halloween party. I'm deliberately limiting how much I say about Halloween now because on the actual day and I'll be talking a lot more then. I like bongos. The bongos always remind me of Mario because in Super Mario World, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, whenever you get on Yoshi, it always adds bongos to the main beat, and I love that shit because it's cool. It's cool, right, guys? It's cool. Halloween party. Ghost stories, costumes. Oh, I've got so much to talk about when it comes to the costumes because I know that people have noticed a pattern with the costumes. So they break into school. What an absolute mad lad. That's spooky. Oh, there's a story behind the Not Spooky name. That was like the first dev argument that we had. This is kind of showing the contrast between the president and the vice president, where Monica is not really reluctant to break into school and break some major rules, whereas Sayori's all for it. It kind of shows that Sayori does have a mischievous side to her, and in some ways that part of me acts as an opposite to Monica's more stickler for the rules kind of personality. I can't say persona now without thinking that I'm making a game reference when I'm not. What would Monica's persona be? Just a giant keyboard. I am thou, thou art I. That's a poem. Alright, blah blah blah, we all know what happens. Halloween stuff. Again, small... nice cock. Again, small references to Sayori being depressed. MC says, seeing as you're lazy, I'll let you sleep in and pick you up from your house instead of us meeting at mine. Hey, it's not like I can help it, you know. Again, depression messes with sleep cycles, and that's something I wanted to allude to as well, because the base game does it wonderfully. So something else that I added from my own character is I sleep in very, 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 very late, and my dad has called me a vampire before, and that's the joke that I put in here. So I think some people here might have thought that Sayori might have died because the MC text term calls her and she's not picking up, and then he actually has to go inside. I've seen some streamers panic a little bit because there are people that that looked at the trailer for the mod and thought that it was like it was actually a horror thing in disguise, and I was thinking that's really not a good idea because you kind of expected it from the base game now. That it wouldn't work if we pulled it again. But some people are still convinced that there's horror in this mod, and I'm like, I mean, if they want to believe that, that's fine, because they'll always be on edge. And soon enough, maybe they'll realise that it's not a horror game, even though there are some spooky moments in the mod. But this part here, I know that specifically it does feel a lot like the, you know, gently open the door thing. But you do get reassurance that she's still in there and she's talking, so. Okay, so this track, Out of Reach, I don't know if you can hear it, you probably can, but there is a sound of rain constantly in the background. I don't need to explain why that's symbolic, but I remember being very annoyed that Purist Mod has a sad Sayori track that has rain, and I didn't want people thinking that we copied them. But thankfully no one did, because people aren't that stupid. I can't remember, what was the music? What was the track that we used as inspiration for this one, Nick? Did we have one for this track? It wasn't that Jurif.hub thing, was it? No, that was Yuri's. No, it wasn't Jurif, it was something else. I can't remember. It's gonna bother me that I can't remember what it was. No, that was the Yuri one! Wasn't it? Alright, it might have been this one. Oh, no, I remember now, because that Jurif.hub one was used in Rain Clouds, and that was a very sad Sayori mod. So yeah, no, it was this one. It was Deep Wound that wasn't. I need to remember that. Okay, sorry Nick. I do apologise. Yeah. There's a certain part in the track. Is it coming up now? I can't remember. But there's just something very effective about having just a piano. That's it. Well, and some rain, obviously, but rain's not an instrument. I think it's nice to kind of go back to nice, simple... Those chords here are very... Did we have a track that was inspired by Midna's Lament from Twilight Princess? Or was it just the name for Monica's? No, that's just the Monica one, never mind. Oh, I'm overthinking this stuff too much. Alright. But this is the first proper sad scene that you get in Sayori's route. Some people felt like that the nightmare scene was a bit too on the nose and a bit too obvious about depression. I can agree with that, but I can also defend it. Because there's a scene in Castle of Shoujo, and I won't spoil it for you, Xenoblade, because I know you're about to play it soon, but there's a scene that has on Emmy's route, the girl with the funny legs, that has a nightmare scene in it. And that was the direct inspiration. And I won't spoil the content, because I know you're going to play it, but that was the inspiration. But I can see why people might think that it was a bit too on the nose, and in some ways it was. But I want to point out that some people are saying, oh, it's really obvious that Sayori has depression. okay, it's obvious to us, okay? Like, if I was a really naive 18-year-old who didn't know anything about mental health and I saw that this was how my friend was acting, my first thought, or none of my thoughts would be depression. Right? Because I'd be so inexperienced with depression, I wouldn't think it was that serious. Plus, also the fact that Sayori acts really happy, you wouldn't think that she was depressed. So I'm going to slightly defend my decision to add a quote-unquote obvious depression scene here. But there are some things that she says here that are very important. So the fact that she's trying and it's really, really tiring for her. And it's really hard. Yeah, it's obvious for us because we know, but the MC doesn't. And sometimes it is really important to remember that the player is not the MC. Sorry, Monica, you are right there. When she says that it's really tiring and she doesn't want to do it anymore, I worry that some people might misinterpret that don't want to do it anymore as I don't want to continue living and that she's suicidal. No one has commented on that, which is good because that's not what it's meant to be. It's really meant to be that she doesn't want to keep pretending to be happy. That's what she doesn't want to do anymore because it's very tiring. And I think this bit here contrasts where she wants help, but she knows it's selfish in her mind. So there's a real contrast, a conflict in her mind where she really wants help, but she doesn't think that she has the kind of, she doesn't believe that she deserves to be happy, and that's really, really painful. In that she calls it selfish, because it's really hard to help someone when they don't believe they need or deserve help. You've got a huge mental block there. And yet it is sad to think that Sayori deals with this. But she doesn't deal with it on her own. No spoilers, but in other words, she does get helped out behind the scenes. So it's not... Because we had to make sure that she wouldn't just like kill herself in other routes because the MC's not helping her. She does get help, just not from him. So don't worry too much about that. And people have picked up on this, the whole I don't want to go, didn't work last time. Yes, that is a reference to the fact that she's had therapy before and it didn't work. And that's something that I wanted to add, because I thought that adds an interesting dynamic where if you've tried therapy before and it didn't work, that's going to make you very reluctant to try it again, because you don't want to repeat the false hope, that kind of thing. And I don't think, and I could be wrong here, but I don't think that other mods have ever written Sayori as having tried therapy before. So that was a nice, unique angle that I wanted to take with Sayori's depression. And even now, she's trying to hide the fact that she had a nightmare. She tries to like play it off because, you know, Sayori really doesn't want to bother other people with her depression to a point where it alienates the MC and it does cause problems. Is the music regularly shifting tunes? It's the same track. It's only one track. Out of reach. Oops. But yeah, no, it's only one track. Yeah, I would. If you play Blue Skies and then play KS, you will really, really see the influences, especially the music. There are some tracks that sound straight out of KS. This isn't one of them, but there are other tracks in the Blue Skies OST that will just scream Castle Shoujo. Other ones scream Pokemon and Corpse Party and the like, but yeah. So this track is called Simplicities, and this one is Sayori's Happy track. I don't remember what the inspiration was for this. I think this might just be a Nick original one, but he's going to angrily remind me if I'm incorrect, so I'm sure he'll be able to help you out. I like the bass line to this. And this is kind of the, I'm not going to say the darker side of MC's personality, but it kind of shows the negative traits that he has, where he's tempted not to answer, to give her a taste of her own medicine, because she's not aware of how frustrating this is. And that kind of anger is something that is one of his flaws. He tries to help as much as he can, but when he feels overwhelmed, in this case with depression and self-harm and with abuse, it's very easy to feel out of your comfort zone and feel like you can't do anything, and that leads to frustration and anger. So it was really important to make the MC not perfect. We had to consciously make him a bit of a dick so that he wasn't just this perfect character that everyone can, you know, relate to, because no one's perfect, you know. And yeah, we really do want to show that depression is something people try and hide, even when it's obvious to us, and they go to great lengths to keep people out, to really hide what's going on in their mind. And that's why it takes so long for MC to finally realise she has depression. Someone pointed out in the bottom right, there's like a Pikachu in here. I don't think it's Pikachu, but if people want to interpret it like that, then they're free to. It does look kind of creepy though, I'm not gonna lie. So pizza, this is another little detail that I wanted to put in, is that depression can really mess with people's their appetite. It's not uncommon for people to either lose a lot of weight or put on a lot of weight when they're suffering from depression. And that shows here when Sayori just wants to eat pizza, and he mentions saying it's not exactly the healthiest of choices. And he's saying to her that you should try something that isn't just junk food. And that's not just the fact that, you know, she likes pizza, but the fact that you know, depression can mess with your diet and your appetite a lot. And in the good ending, when you're on the dinner date with Sayori at the restaurant, there's actually a point where MC notices that Sayori doesn't just like eat her food instantly. She actually takes her time with it, like how you would without depression, because it shows that her appetite is coming back and it's a bit more healthy and balanced now that she's progressing with therapy, which is a nice little detail that I put in. I know it sounds like I'm sucking my own dick, and hopefully it's not coming off like that, but I just really wanted to try and make the portrayal as accurate as possible, especially with the small details. And this is just MC, you know, typical male bravado, trying to carry 3 pumpkins at once. I think we've all done that, tried to like carry all the shopping from the car to the house, and it's just like, it's really heavy, and you're like, yep, I regret this a lot, but I have to do it because I'm a man, which in hindsight is probably unhealthy masculinity, but this is not a commentary on social norms, but just like to bear in mind. Right. Refusing to make 2 trips, exactly. It is, as your name suggests, triple pain, because that shit hurts. Pumpkin. Thank you, Kelvin. Pumpkin. Yeah. So this is just a scene where they carve pumpkins. I didn't actually carve a pumpkin until Halloween in 2018, and it was really, really fun. Didn't realise how enjoyable it was. So this is something else that I really like that Dan put in. So Sayori is portrayed as being very clumsy and not very good with her hands. Now, it's easy to just dismiss that as, you know, so some people just aren't great with motor control. What's really interesting is that depression can actually mess with your motor control, so it can actually make you quite clumsy and uncoordinated. I don't know if this is intentionally done because Dan did his research with the finer details for depression. I suspect he did because his portrayal of depression was very accurate. and it's something that I wanted to. Yes, it can. And it really goes to show there's a lot more to Sayori's character than you might just think of clumsy airhead. You know, it can really mess with your perceptions, your motor control. I thought that was a great little detail that Dan put in the mod. And it just goes to show that, you know, there's more to her than you might think. I don't know the finer details as to why. I assume it's something to do with the brain areas involved in motor control also being affected, because obviously depression has a physical basis in the brain as well. I assume it's something to do with that, but I have to do a little bit of neuroscience research to give me an answer. It might be fine motor control. I don't know the finer nuances because I didn't do as much research on it as I'd have liked. But I'm sure if you Google depression and motor control, you can find a lot of research on it. And that's part of the reason why I liked DDLC so much, was because the way Dan portrayed depression was very, very accurate. Like the biggest part was that when you say "I love you" to Sayori, her depression isn't just cured. I love that he kept that, because it just goes to show that you can't cure depression with love. And other mods have a habit of curing depression with love, and I am not a fan of that. That's part of the reason why I wanted to write Blue Skies, because I wanted to write a more realistic portrayal of depression rather than the fairy tale kind of version that a lot of mods opt for. Yeah, I think the explanation that Xenoblade just gave you is a nice layman's term explanation for it. MC, or Momsy even. That's a direct conversation I've had with my own mum before, where she asks me, "What have you eaten?" And I'm just eating chocolate for breakfast, and I'm like, "So, yeah, how are things on your end, mum?" You know, what they don't know won't hurt her. Blah, blah, blah. So this is... Well, people know that there are spoilers for series route coming up, but basically, this is one of the very important choices that you can make in series route. If you tell your mother your feelings for Sayori, after Sayori confesses her depression to you, you'll ring up your mum and you will tell her what happened. And that's when she tells you about how to deal with depression, which means that when, in Act 3, when Sayori mentions going to therapy, you have a choice to join her or not. Whereas if you don't tell your mum your feelings, you don't have that choice at all. But you do get an option to redeem yourself later on. So if you didn't tell your mum your feelings, or if you did tell her your feelings but chose not to join her at therapy, there's another point where it says, give therapy more of a chance, or I'll come with you. You can redeem yourself by clicking I'll come with you. If you don't, bad ending. But if you do, you can go from the bad ending to the good ending. Because I like to give people a second chance, but only one. Because, yeah, I'm going to tell her just because we're going to go for the good ending first. Then we'll do the bad ending. But we're not going to do it in one stream. It's going to be like a part 3 or part 4 thing, because this is going on for longer than I thought it would. And I think the history that Sayori has with Momsy as well is something that really makes her route unique from the other 2 routes. Because even though Momsy does meet Yuri and Natsuki, the history that the kind of relationship that she has with those 2 girls is very different to the one she has with Sayori. Also, my stream is going completely fucky. Is the stream working fine for you guys? Because if so, I'll leave it alone, but... That's fine? Okay. Do I know how long I'm going to stream for? I'm going to get to Halloween, which I think is the next day. I want to go a little bit through Halloween and then call it there. So we'll be about halfway through Act 2. And yeah, Momsey's wisdom and insight was really, really fun to write, because basically she's coming from our position in that she doesn't know Sayori is depressed, although she does later, but that's when she's finally on the same page that the player is on. And she has that kind of wisdom that mothers have when it comes to dealing with these kind of things, and it was really fun to kind of put that in there, because it was kind of the advice that I would give to someone myself. And she's woke, man. Momsey's woke. It's fun to write woke characters. Okay, so I want to clarify what game this is. Everyone thinks that this is Outlast or Resident Evil. It is neither of those two games. Although the game was very much inspired by Resident Evil, but it is not Resident Evil. If anyone can guess, then you win absolutely nothing, but well done. It's not Parasite Eve. Nope, not Murder, Sole Suspect. Third person survival. Police detective. I can see where you're coming from with Saw, but there's no simulation. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Wrong button. Nightmare simulation. There's no simulation in Saw. That's the important part. Is the simulation part. That's the biggest giveaway for what game it is. I didn't actually mean to skip this dialogue, but this is just them. I think we've all had this kind of conversation with our friends when we were really young. Just saying, yes, it is the evil within, well done. I think we've all had this conversation with our friends, basically saying, are we going to be friends forever? Although, when you're kids, you know, because Sayori wants to stay friends and, you know, she doesn't want to lose your friendship, and that's something that actually happens, sadly, although they do reconnect after a while. Something to ensure that they always stay friends is getting married. I think this scene was really fun to... Well, these scenes in general are really, really fun to write, just because they really show off the childhood innocence, you know, where you're making these big, bold claims, but kids aren't going to know what it's like to be married, you know, but to them it's like, you know, you'll get married when we're 8 years old. To put yourself in that innocent mindset. It was kind of difficult for me as well to kind of write this dialogue, as fun as it was, because I'm trying to think, how would what are the kind of things that young kids would say? And for me, when I was this young, that was like 20 years ago, 19 years ago, so that was tricky, but still very, very fun to write. If we're married, does that mean we'll be friends forever? If only you knew, Sayori. If only you knew. My parents are friends and they're married, so that must mean that's how it works, right? Well, they got divorced later on, but yeah. Getting married. Yeah. Being married isn't easy, you know, again, foreshadowing the Momsey divorce. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think a lot of kids do, because when you're a kid, a big source of information like is your parents and like older adults in your life. So when you hear them talk about marriage and relationships, it rubs off on the kids, and they have their own view of what marriage is. Obviously, they'll have no idea what it's like, but their own innocent interpretation is what I thought was really endearing. I wanted to put in the mud. marriage stuff is so easy. Oh, if only were that easy. Slight foreshadowing. Yeah. Best friends forever. Even in 50 years, even in 50, 100 years, that's a big number, right? I love that expression where Sayori looks kind of like confused. And then MC now feels really guilty because, you know, they used to get along so well and they were together and all that stuff. And then Sayori says that she loves being around him, don't want to lose the friendship, and then they drifted and he feels really bad. And that guilt is something that you see in all three routes. It does not go away. So Natsuki, she might be my least favourite Doki, but she is quite fun to write for because her attitude just makes me laugh. Because she's just so like blunt and awkward around the MC. We really need to do fade outs music. Ugh. I always thought that Nick's music for Yuri's route sounds like Breath of the Wild music, which is a good thing. It's like what the flute. I think Breath of the Wild music has more instruments in it. I don't know, I think it depends on the track. I think Breath of the Wild's whole soundtrack lends to this kind of vibe, whereas Blue Skies is a lot more dynamic. No, you get to hear Sayori's theme in Yuri's route. And Natsuki's. And it was really important because when I was writing Yuri's scenes for Sayori's route, this was before I'd written Yuri's route, so I didn't have the greatest grasp on her character, so I really had to learn. And this was really fun because I think talking about Halloween would be something that Yuri would enjoy because she's a fan of horror and stuff. This was a nice little introduction to the route, to how to write for Yuri. So Frankenstein's monster, the discussion on this, I had to do a little bit of research because I wasn't sure what Yuri would talk about. There were, in hindsight, there are loads of things in horror that she could talk about, but I think characterization. Is this in the official game? What Blue Skies? Yeah, it is. This is in Sayori's route, Act 2. But the real point of contention here is basically understanding Frankenstein's monster. So Yuri's saying that just because it's a monster and it's expected to act like a monster, people fear it and are scared of it. Well, actually, you know, it's still got very human traits. And the kind of writing Yuri's dialogue was really fun because it really makes you think about characters and think about kind of more deeper, more complex themes. Whereas Sayori's route is a little bit more simple. So Sayori sleeping in and saying that she's ill is you know, indicative of, you know, what it feels like to be depressed. And also not being able to come into school. That's something that I put in because one of my friends suffers from really bad depression. And I remember when I was talking to him about what it was like, he said there are days where he just didn't want to go to school, couldn't face it. And that was a really powerful message that it sent to me, and I wanted to put that in the mod. Because some days you just don't have the energy. And there's only so much you can fake being happy and fake having energy. The fact that it just drains you is something that I really want to make people aware of what it's like to be depressed. And this pot here, when... Now, it's fairly obvious what this is referring to. But when it's talking about the medicine, because Sayori says that she has a headache, and then the MC points to some medicine, and because she's very frantic in hiding the packet, the implication is that they're basically antidepressants, but she doesn't want the MC to know about that. And obviously being in a low mood and snapping and not really wanting to talk to people, like irritability is also a big part of depression. So Sayori, the smiling happy cinnamon bun being snappy at people is a very... I don't know which one she specifically takes, I didn't put in that much detail. But it's basically not really working. Which is sad because, you know, it takes a while to get the right antidepressant. And here she's just like, look, I know you're concerned about me and it's really sweet, but for once can you just stop it? Because she's just like not in a good mood. She's really no energy, and someone's here like, oh, let me help you and stuff, and it's like, it's not your job to cure someone. Just give her space, give her time. And then he's like, there's something going on here that I'm not realizing. What could it be? Blah, blah, blah. And at this point, the player is like, it's depression. But the MC doesn't know. And it must be very frustrating for him because, you know, seeing your friend act like this all of a sudden is very, very off-putting. Oh yeah, my Amazon thingy arrived. Oh, it's been dispatched. Wonderful. Which track is this? I think, is this one pensive? Yeah, it is. Huh, pensive. Alright, so I'm just briefly going to go over the first bit of Halloween when they break into the school and then call it there, because we've been streaming for like 2.5 hours. But Halloween, oh boy, there are so many things to talk about for Halloween. So let's turn this one up. So this track here, which is called Witch's Brew, is actually a spooky version of Cinnamon. I think it's Cinnamon. Yes, it is. It's a slowed down, spooky-fied version. Halloween is, I think, one of the standouts from the whole mod. It was so fun to make 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago we did it. It's amazing. Okay, so there's a lot to take in here. Now, people are wondering what this is a reference to. It's... okay. Alright. So, I am a big fan of Overwatch, as you can probably tell. Or maybe you can't. And McCree is one of my favourite characters, and he has a skin for his Halloween event called... what's it called? It's called Van Helsing. And it's extremely... If you play Overwatch, it becomes very, very obvious. I want to show you a picture side by side. You can compare the similarities between these two. So as you can see, time and place for subtlety, this is not it. She has the red like scarf thing, she has the arm and shoulder pads, she has the hat, although she's wrapped the red ribbon around it, and she has the trousers as well. So that's what it's a reference to. Now you might be wondering, why did we choose Van Helsing McCree? It's because I wanted to put a little bit of bullying in. Because as you can see, down by her hip, there is a bit of rope. And we wanted to add a little nod to her death. But I didn't just want to make her like a cowgirl for no reason. Because I thought, well, if she's going to be a cowgirl, let's make it McCree. Because, yeah, cool. I'm very funny. What's the MC dressed as? We deliberately kept it ambiguous. So that you could interpret it whatever you want. You could be dressed as a spooky vampire, a ghost, a fireman, whatever you want. Alright, so here, this is when I just thought, fuck it, when it came to the references. So, brown fedora, red and green sweater, glove, blades, very, very obvious who that's meant to be. And it pains me when people play the Halloween part and don't realise who that's meant to be, or at least don't comment on it, and I'm just like, bruh. But whatever. But yeah, I bet it'll give me nightmares. Again, that speaks for itself. Whether that was intentional pun or not is up for debate, because, you know. This one, obviously it's Scooby-Doo. Because I remember when I was growing up, and I used to take Halloween very seriously as a kid, whenever we'd go out, we'd see all these characters on the street. Some of them were really scary, like the Freddy Krueger that we just saw. Some of them were just really silly, like the Scooby-Doo one. And the fact that the school feels like a parade with a variety of characters, Western to Eastern, is basically just Halloween is great for horror, so we tried to put in as many horror references as we could. Creepy looking pale girl with jet black hair covering her face. Again, that's also pretty obvious what that's referencing. Because we wanted to have a mixture of Western horror and Eastern horror, because Japanese horror is fucking spooky. Yes, group costumes are a lot of fun if we can pull them off. So this one looks like a janitor, dark overalls, white mask, big knife. It's not fucking Jason Voorhees, for those that think it is. It's not him. There was a guy on stream who, I think it's a YouTube playthrough, was like, oh, it's Jason Voorhees. And I was like, stop playing the mod. You don't deserve to carry on. Shaking my head. And he's just standing there, just looking at you, because that's what Michael Myers does. Doesn't say anything. I remember my friend Chris, Crashpunk, he said that Myers wasn't really that scary. But then we went to Comic-Con, and there was a guy dressed as Myers, and he was very, very in character. And he was quite creepy. He just looked at you and just walked up to you, and he was quite a big dude as well. But I also saw another guy dressed as Myers who was looking at the section for like anime titties, like figurines. It was so funny. Like, you see so many horror characters and like characters acting out of character at Comic-Con, and it's so funny. Oh, it was great. It was definitely a highlight of Comic-Con. Made me laugh a lot. Maybe he was a mime. Yeah, he was a mime, sure. And horror writing is really fun to do, because with the imagery that you have at your fingertips, you can really paint the kind of picture of what the atmosphere and the story and what the scene is like. It really helps having backgrounds, and of course the music. The music here really helps. There's a track that plays at some point in the Halloween section that just sounds downright really, really creepy, and it's inspired by the game Corpse Party, which is one of Nick's favourite games that I started playing a couple of months ago that I need to finish. It's very much like DDLC in that it doesn't have like loads of jump scares, and it relies on atmospheric atmospheric horror. Like it's very psychological. Like the music and the subtle things changing are really, really creepy. And I realised when I was playing Corpse Party years after we made the teaser that this is where I got the music inspiration from, and it's great. I would play Corpse Party. It's really good. I'm playing it at night with my friends, although I have been abandoning it for Persona 4 Golden at the moment, but it's a really, really good game. And what's crazy is that it's just based off an RPG engine, so it's not even like a top-down 2D RPG maker kind of engine. So it's not like it doesn't look terrifying, but it very much works within its constraints. Yeah, it is really good, and it lets your imagination do the real heavy lifting at times, and that's really powerful because it's what you don't know rather than what you can explicitly see is what's creepy. And that's, again, when we're making the Halloween teaser this day here, it was very important that we kept the stuff psychological. We didn't just have jump scares. We were tempted to put in jump scares in this, but we didn't, because we wanted to keep it like DDLC, where it's the little things that fuck with your head, and the anticipation of a jump scare is worse than an actual jump scare itself, at least to me. Yes, Persona 4 Golden is now available on Steam. I'd recommend it, it's very good. So Monica's saying right behind you. This is a reference that not many people got because it's not extremely obvious. For those of you that have played Team Fortress 2, in the Meet the Spy trailer, there's a part where the spy pops up behind two people when they're saying, "Where's the spy?" And he's like, "Right behind you." That's what it's a reference to. Very subtle, but it's there. Yeah, that's a reference to TF2. That's what I was thinking of when I made that. Yeah. But it's one of those references that are subtle enough that you wouldn't really think it, and also it's not something that you'd know for sure unless it was confirmed, because it's not explicitly like, yeah, the spy says that, but it's not like Monica's wearing like a spy costume or whatever. It's something that like dev commentary is there to confirm, basically. Okay, now for those of you who are wondering what Monica's costume is, yes, she is a witch, but there is a specific game that she's referencing, and this was from our Monica root writer who wanted to put this in. Let me find this for you. So it's a reference to a game called Irisu Puzzle Syndrome. I spelled that completely wrong. That's what the character wears. You can see extremely obviously how often the reference is. Now, it's a creepy, well, fucking hell, that does look quite disturbing. It's like a creepy puzzle game that breaks the fourth wall, so you can see clearly what the references are. I might actually play it or watch a video on it because it looks really creepy. Oh, that is some creepy shit. It's been 84 years meme. Yes, thank you FBI for tracking everything that I'm looking at. But that's what her costume is a reference to. Very cool. And for people that got the reference, they thought it was really cool. But for those that don't, you can just see it's like a generic witch costume. She is a glitch witch, if you want to call her that. So. Yeah, so darkened school. So schools, when it's past like closing time in the dark, are really fucking creepy. I remember when I was in primary school, or middle school, or elementary school to you guys. I don't know what the grade equivalent is, but it's when I was 11 or 10. My school was, for history, we were studying the Second World War, and we were doing the Blitz, which was when the Luftwaffe used to bomb English towns and cities, and in response the UK government switched off all the lights in all the buildings to help so that the bombers wouldn't know exactly where they were. And so we had a sleepover in our school, which sounds like a 'Nairo' wet dream if you ask me. But anyway, we had a sleepover in our school, and at a certain point, all the lights were turned off, and all the kids were sleeping in the main hall, the main room. But yeah, the lights were all turned off to kind of simulate the blackout. And at one point, I think I left something in my classroom, and I had to walk there from the main hall. It was only like a 2-minute walk. Like, it's a really short walk, but in the dark, the school looked really scary. I mean, granted, I was only 10, and I'm a massive chicken, but it looked really, really creepy. And I really want to kind of allude to that, because schools after dark look very, very creepy, very sinister. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, so this was where we really kind of put the references to the base game. So we heard the MC hearing a rumour that a girl hung herself in this school, but no one really knows what happened to her. She just disappeared, almost like she was deleted. Up to you if that's too on the nose or clever. There was a guy who commented it in the feedbacks, and it kind of took him out because it's like, why are you referencing the base game? And I'm like, because, you know, it's Halloween, you have to, it's horror. But it's always that kind of little voice that says, oh no, like, you know, it didn't happen, those are just silly rumours. But what if it did happen? There's always that little voice that doesn't quite believe it, and it just plays away in the back of your mind, sowing fear and discontent into your head. Maybe that's just me, being weird. And you hear about, in these Japanese horror stories, that a lot of the cases when people are murdered or they commit suicide, they're very vengeful. And vengeful spirits always spook me. Also, something else that I just noticed is a problem. Continuity. So in Sayori's route, they carve pumpkins together, right? And Sayori says that she'll bring a pumpkin, and so does MC. But over here, it says that he can see Natsuki and Yuri inside pouring over a pumpkin carving. Technically, that should have been Sayori and MC, but because Halloween was written a long time before Act 2 was written, we didn't want to change it. And we're lazy. But no one's commented on it so far, so maybe they haven't noticed, and I've just brought to light an issue that no one noticed. Who knows? And of course, Monica is the one who knows that the classroom opposite to where they're holding it, so that one student hung herself, and she winks at him opening the door. So, this is the last scene that I'm going to do before we call the stream. This background was made by our background artists, Serki and Forfan. You can't see it because the sprites are in the way, but I think this background is absolutely wonderful. I love the orange tin, I love the jack-o'-lanterns with the lights in them, the spiders, the pumpkin hangings, the cobwebs. It's honestly, when you think of Halloween, cheesy Halloween things, this is exactly... Yes, the music as well. I love that we got this Halloween remix in. Halloween is my favourite time of the year, so the Halloween tracks are a huge... Like, apart from rose-tinted glasses, this is perhaps my favourite track. I love Halloweenified music, and I think the organ really nails the mood. And Nick just... This man went sicko mode. He didn't need to, but he did. What an absolute mad lad. So Yuri is just like an 18th century vampire. There's no real references for hers, but that's what she is. I think her hat is absolutely beautiful, and the frills on her hair looks really, really nice. It's like gothic vampires. Yuri's outfit is something you want to buy and wear for Halloween. Well, I assumed that you were a guy because most DDLC fans are male, but if you're a girl and you wear that, then power to you, because that shit looks amazing. Or if you're a guy and you want to wear a dress, I don't judge. Looks cool. But yeah, I think Yuri's costume really matches her. Oh, you're a girl? My apologies, I assume, because, you know, DDLC and its male fan base. Yes, it does look very, very nice. Alright, so Natsuki's outfit. So, oh man, okay. Now that we have all the Dokis on the screen, I can comment on what the inspiration was behind them. So, each costume is a reference to their deaths. Or their kind of general personalities. I can't say personas now because it's just like the game. Okay, so Sayori's, she has rope because, you know, she hanged herself with a rope. That's obvious. Yuri's vampires, blood, knives. You know, vampires and blood go hand in hand. Natsuki's being a skeleton because, you know, she's really skinny. She doesn't get to eat. So, you know. And Monika's is a little bit harder, but Monika's plays on the whole Irisu puzzle syndrome thing, creepy, fourth wall breaking, glitch witch, basically kind of thing. That's where Monika's comes in. Yeah, so that's the thought process that went behind all these costumes, and they turned out really well. Although I remember one of our devs put a little Sans blue eye in the little eye hole for Natsuki's headband, and we all called it Sans because Sans jokes were funny in 2018, weren't they? They really weren't funny. Alright, so that's spooky. Okay, so we had a big developer argument over this one. So, Curie and Glyph, our art director and Monica writer, they wanted Natsuki to be like a magical girl from like one of our animes. It's like a really like frilly... You kind of know what like magical girl outfits look like. They're very like moe, basically. But Shaggy, the guy who was in charge of writing our Natsuki route, wanted her to be Natspooky because I thought the name Natspooky was funny. Spooky. It's a skeleton. It's spooky. Get it? Because I don't know why I'm directing this. Anyway, yeah, so there was a big debate as to what we wanted the costume to be. And it was a debate that lasted for a couple of days. And we thought no, Shaggy is the Natsuki route writer, he gets the final say, and he wanted to make Natsuki Natspooky. He said that Natsuki wouldn't be a magical girl because she tries to hide her interest in anime and manga, so it wouldn't make sense if she was a magical girl, which I thought was a fair point. So that's how he made Natspooky. I'd say that out of the 4 outfits, it's hard to choose a favourite. They're all good in different ways. Sayori's route obviously has the obvious McCree, Van Helsing outfit, but I think McCree aside, it is a very nice outfit. I like the kind of the look on it, and the belt has the little skull on it, and the rope, that's a really nice little touch. Yuri's just looks extremely regal, and it's just beautiful to look at. The frilly design, the hat, the fact that her hair is different as well, you know, it really takes you back to literally 200 years ago. It's crazy. Monica's because of the whole Irisu puzzle syndrome thing, which I'm definitely going to look at and probably shit myself because that game looks spooky. I love how it's a reference to that. I think that if we weren't going to make her a glitch witch, we would have given her like a generic cat outfit with like whiskers and cat ears. The reasoning being that Monica doesn't really have time to create a costume or wear one, so she just picks something basic and goes with that. But I'm glad that we chose that outfit for her. And then Natsuki's, I like it because it's simple and it looks nice. You know, it's a skeleton. It's nothing over the top. What you see is what you get. You can't really see it, but there are like bones everywhere. Like for her legs, you can see the leg bones, and she has the little arm bones, and the shoulder bones and everything. And it's just nice to look at because it's nice and silly. We're gonna go until the poems start and then call it there. I like how Sayori looks so happy that she came up with the Natspooky name. And then Natsuki's just like the dumbest hurdle to... Oh man, I'm glad you liked the Siri route, Kestel. Glad to hear it. It was very fun to write. I'm a skeleton, how is that cute? I mean, she has a point. Are skeletons cute? They're funny, but I wouldn't say they're cute. I like how Natsuki can't even tell what she is. Cowgirl. Okay, so the whole high noon thing. Okay, before you're, pitchfork me, I just want to point out that this was written 2 years ago. Well, when Overwatch was not the popular thing to hate, and it was actually a decent game. So cut me some slack. I did, obviously. And then the high moon thing is funny because, how do you do a southern drawl in Japanese? I don't know. I'm not from Japan, bro. It's midnight. It's funny because, McCree's ultimate voice line is it's high noon, but his, what's it called? His ultimate voice line when he's wearing the Van Helsing skin is it's high moon. So that's a 2-in-1 reference. Spaghetti westerns, of course, Sayori interprets it as food. It's a very Sayori thing to do. So notice that here, the MC deliberately doesn't mention himself. Skeleton, Natsuki, Cowboy, Sayori, Vampire, Yuri, and Witch, Monica. I think... Did we ever comment on what he was going to be? No, we didn't. It was always kept ambiguous. I think it might have been nice to actually say what he was, but nah. Yuri bringing a wine. What an absolute mad lad. I was able to find a nice Chianti. That is a reference to... what's it called? Hannibal Lecter. Silence of the Lambs, that's it. I forgot that this was a reference that we put in. There are so many smaller references that are scattered here and there. I have to make sure that even I pick up on them. I like how Yuri brings wine and it kind of backfires. I do like how Natsuki is just sick of Sayori's shit. Alright, so that's a lovely view of the club room. I think it looks absolutely amazing. The lights. Oh man, it really takes me back to when I was a kid. They actually do have Yuri's wine in Sayori's room at the end. Just not yet. Right, I'm going to call the stream there, because I've been streaming for 3 hours. And contrary to popular belief, I do have a social life. Well, not a social life, but other things that I want to do. So I want to call it there. That was the first bit of the stream. I'll probably do... This turned out pretty well, so I'll probably do it again. I'm not sure when to do it next. I might do it in the middle of the week, rather than only on a weekend. I could do it tomorrow. Too short notice? Monday maybe? Tuesday? I'm not sure. But we'll definitely do it again, because this was really fun to do. So thanks to everyone that tuned in. If you missed any of the stream or want to catch up, don't worry, the stream has been saved this time, so you can go back and have a look. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, that is true, so not a good day to do it. Probably Monday then, or Tuesday. Yeah, we'll carry on there. We'll finish Halloween, probably finish Act 2 as well, probably start Act 3. It'll probably take about 5 streams to do the entire route, so if people want to tune in for that, they can, so that's good. Your birthday's on Tuesday. Well, happy early birthday, rlolly123. Yeah, that's everything. I will let you guys know when I'll stream next, probably Wednesday, because I don't just want to do it on weekends, because otherwise there's a big gap between the streams. So yeah, probably Wednesday as a provisional. I will update people accordingly. So yeah, I'm gonna call the stream there. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll hopefully see you soon for the next part of Sayori's route. Have a good one.